Hey everyone, welcome to a special Easter edition of the Sunday Night Geekery. And we've got my buddy who's an orange pile of rocks hanging out with me tonight. So hail to the clobbering.
Hey.
How's it going?
Sorry about that. I might mess up. I gotta go. You there? You hear me? Hey.
Yo, I'm here. Yep, I can hear you. Yep. You're good. You're 5x5. Yep.
Look at Tom, man.
Hey Tom, how's it going?
Tom,
Happy Easter.
Tom should hang out with us tonight.
Well, yeah, I don't want to impose on Tom, but we're going to talk
a
little
Godzilla. We don't want to impose on him, but
no. If you feel like hopping in, let us know. But yeah, Tom,
I don't know. I don't think they have a show going on.
Oh, he says he's sure
cool.
Pop in a bit.
Right.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I forgot to go do something, but while you're handling that,
yeah, I'll send intros and say hi to everyone in the chat, and and maybe and Eric K will try to stop by in the chat too, and maybe he's got a picture of his dinner that he cooked tonight. But first of all, obviously, happy Easter to everyone. It's a very sacred and holy day for Christians around the world, and sometimes it gets these holidays get a little bit too commercial, but in the heart of it, it's great to see family and friends, and hopefully you have that opportunity to get together and spend time with your family. My kids came back from college and work, and came back into visit, so it's great to you take it for granted sometimes. So, but let's say hail to everyone in the chat, and Tom, I did send you the link, so yeah. If you feel like popping in, that'd be cool to see what you thought of Godzilla. So let's say hi to we got everyone rocking in the chat here. So we've got Tim here, FKH. He says, he comes from Alabama. Well, it's UConn versus Alabama Monday night in the Final Four. Yeah. And hail to the Putin's cat. Yep. Yeah. So UConn is playing. Oh, it's on Saturday. Yeah. So UConn had like a 30-0 run. In the last game they played, and that's big stuff around here in these parts. Connecticut, we don't have any professional sports team. Well, we do have we do have WNBA. We do have the Connecticut Sun, and I think there's maybe some lacrosse teams, but we don't have a big, huge, major professional sports team anymore like we have with the Hartford Whalers. So it's big time stuff around here. Hey, look who popped in. Tom, how's it going?
Hey, how you guys doing? Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Yep. We're saying hi to everyone in the chat. I hope you had a great day. And when did you saw Godzilla with what, couple days ago?
I saw it on Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday, right? Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. Clobbering Times just came back from seeing it, and I got to see it too. So we're gonna Godzilla and pound it up.
What's up, Tom? What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Wow, that's good. Oh, and look who's coming in. Let's see if you can guess who's coming in here.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, not so much anymore.
Oh, buddy. What's that?
Yeah, you look like your icon.
The mighty nipple.
Mighty nipple.
I'm on a new computer, actually.
Wow.
So I haven't set it up yet with all that stuff.
Computer.
Oh, how cool.
Computer.
Is that? I usually see these on my cell phone. Is that Midnight's Edge After Dark?
That is him.
That is.
Yeah, buddy.
Good to virtually meet you.
Indeed.
I've watched many, not all of your shows when Klobby's on, but many of them. As everybody knows, I have a toddler, so time is limited. If she's with me, so
yeah. Plus, we use a lot of colorful language over there.
Yeah.
Metaphors.
Colorful metaphors. Yes.
Yeah,
I learned that word, Daddy, from watching Midnight's Edge.
Well, double dumbass on you.
Double dumbass on. I was just about to go there. Yeah.
You did too much LDS at Berkeley.
Hey, Dad Man.
And Dad Man, happy Easter. Yeah.
Lisa Wagner, Dad Man, Brian,
Lisa, wow, yeah.
RobAltis, all our good buddies are here.
Yeah, let's go down this list here. So hail to Fanty Outsider, Putin's Cat, RobAltis, RTNZ, Claude Saline, the Dad Man. I think Dad Man's camping. That's why he's not here. He's in a tent. He's in a van down by the river, I think. Yep. And happy Easter, Lisa. Great to see you. Hey. And who else we got hanging? I always hate to miss anyone in the chat, but I know a lot of people probably away this weekend or traveling. So I'm sure we'll have a ton more people rolling on in as we get started. But yeah, we did get to see. All three of us have seen. Is it Godzilla X Kong? I guess that means with Kong.
Yes. It should be Godzilla XOXOXO Kong because I mean they look at each other longingly through a lot of the film.
I must have missed that part.
They dance like Fred Astaire and Ginger
Rogers. That part, yeah, that's right.
And they're lighter than air. I was waiting for them to kiss.
I did think there was a relationship. There was something going on between those two monsters.
There is kind of a relationship, but it's a symbiotic relationship. I think
people
we'll
are going to believe that, you know.
When you say I know. I'm being facetious and joking because of the whole Ghostbuster thing, but yeah.
Yes. Figured you would be. But yeah, enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. You know, it was pretty cool.
Oh, I had a blast.
It's a Kong movie. I'm actually mad at myself for choosing. I had to choose between the Godzilla Cup or the Kong Cup, and going in, you know, I just picked Godzilla for some reason, and then I walked out. Go, man, I wish I did pick the Kong instead. Man, but I can't afford both. So it wasn't cheap. It was a nice popcorn bucket though.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool Kong stuff in this one too. Yeah. And as a Kong fan,
yeah. As a good American, I should choose Kong.
That's right. Well, most of America does choose Kong, but don't tell the weebs that.
Yeah, true. Well, you know, it is really his movie.
Yeah.
It seemed to me. You know.
I work for a Japanese company, so I'm not saying a thing. I don't know nothing.
The Big G is, you know, he's definitely gets to hang out there and do stuff. I mean, he had the last movie, and he had the last couple. You know, you know, this is still a great world's finest of monsters. You know. Kaiju.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a lot of fun. So I mean, it's the humans can be, as we talk about, sometimes can be, you know, sometimes can be annoying, and you know, you just.
But I felt like I don't know if you guys agreed it or not, but like in this one, it felt like they have streamlined the humans to the point where they are at the minimalist you can have them. Like I said, they literally are there just to get the monsters from point A to B.
Yeah, exactly. Mark and I were talking before the show, and that's exactly what I was telling them. I said, yeah, because I didn't mind them at all. And it's because what they do now is they edit it properly where, yes, they're there to facilitate the story, because without humans in those stories at all, there's no threat, there's no point to the monsters. They do it so well in this one that you'll get some human stuff that they'll cut you right back to not just a shot or two of the monster, but really good scenes, long scenes with the monsters. So you really, you know, this is one of the few that I thought was not that was loaded down with humans.
Absolutely, and I feel like they did their best. Like it felt like whoever did a good job with this script really streamlined everything to where, like, because even Six pointed out she was expecting not to get too deep into spoilers. So I don't know if you said minor spoilers here. So
I do minors. Yeah,
because everybody's seen, you know, where Kong has the thing on his hand. Like she was kind of surprised that we didn't get like this montage, you know, because she heard the rock music kick on and she said, okay, here we go. We're going to get a whole montage of, you know, all the scientists working with the Iwi putting together this thing for Kong. And nope, it's just like bam, bam, bam. It's like this movie has no fat. Like, we're not going to waste time with the human stuff. It is such a Saturday morning cartoon, and I do not mean that in a derogatory way.
No,
either.
But Kong is actually for being a character that obviously doesn't speak, is an amazingly well handled character. His characterization in this, he's the best character in the film to me, and he's really well handled because of the way he looks, the way his body language and everything. He's really good, and he has some really cool ass scenes in it, man.
Well, there's like what I mean, and people have been pointing this out, so I'm not alone in feeling this or seeing this or noticing it or whatever you want to put it. Like, there's a good 20 to so minute spurt in this movie where it literally is no dialogue.
Yeah,
and it's all Kong and something really happening with him, and it is one of the probably more entertaining scenes in the film till you get to the fights near the end. But like, yeah, it's like just that whole bit there is one of my favorite bits of the movie because, like you said, you don't even have to have any dialogue there. You know what's going on already. You can translate it for yourself just through Kong's actions and emotions, and and I felt like Kong did get a lot of fun stuff to do in this movie too. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Kong, and this one, I think basically Kong is Conan in this.
Yes, and I like how they handled Mini Kong.
Yeah, that was actually well done. Yeah.
I know some people have been complaining there's not enough Godzilla. I felt he was in it quite a bit. I mean, there's some people claiming he wasn't in it all that much. I mean, I'm like, well,
I could definitely see the way that he wasn't in it as much, but maybe the next one he'll have most of it. I mean, let's face it. As much as we love Godzilla, they rarely give him the kind of personality that's possible to give a character like Kong.
And there was another Titan that showed up that I thought wasn't supposed to be in this, but I was surprised that they were. So yeah, it was another cool surprise.
Yeah, there's a Titan surprise at the end. We won't say who or what, but it does tie in one of the human characters.
Yep.
Which was good. And we're doing very minor spoilers. So anything in the trailer is fair game. And then we can just share my screen here and get some pictures up.
Well, and that's the one part of the film that I'm curious what the classic Toho fans are going to feel about it. But
yeah,
it is kind of a regenerated version of a Titan, let's say. So yeah, I didn't mind it as much. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. But it was just silly fun, great silly fun with some really cool scenes. I think Kong was really cool in it, and it's his movie. It could just be called Kong with Kong, calls in Godzilla for a while, but I'm fine with that. And if it had been the other way around, I'd be fine too if it's a fun movie.
Hey, DJ Play Nice. Hell.
Hey.
See, I think this movie answered the question for us on BBS. Maybe if Wonder Woman had shown up a little bit sooner, those two wouldn't have fought so long. See.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If you've seen the film, you get the both films anyway.
Yeah. So basically, the movie starts with, these are many minor spoilers, but it's basically starts with Kong's side of the story in this movie, and
it's actually kind of similarly starts off the same way as the last one did, but then it deviates from there, right? Like you start in Kong's world, and then on Godzilla's side of things, he's woke up and he's pissed off about something they can't figure out what. That is literally the same setup as the last one, but from there it goes in a completely different direction. Yeah.
Didn't the last movie start with a flashback in the past?
It may have, but it starts also like as far as when we get to the modern day, I do know it starts in Kong's enclosure and with the song and all that stuff, and he throws the thing at the thing because he's the
stuff. Yeah,
the thing at the thing at the thing, the log at the ceiling of the enclosure because he knows it's his way of telling him he knows he's not in the real world. Yeah,
they missed one opportunity though. One problem.
What's that?
Well, when Kong finally gets the thing on his arm or whatever, he's supposed to look up at his arm and say, and then what? And since he can't talk, the other humans could have said, "Groovy." I'm sorry. That
would have been funny if Trapper would have been like, "Now that's groovy." Yeah, I would have liked that. Yeah,
he just said groovy. I mean, I was actually when it was happening going, "Oh man, he's going to look at his arm and someone's going to say groovy in the movie," and they didn't do it. I'm like, oh.
Groovy.
Yeah,
groovy.
Still, it was fun.
Yeah, it reminds me of wrestling too. It's a tag team wrestling matchup, but it's a lot of comic book fans and Star Wars fans. It
doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's serious enough that you give a crap about the stakes involved. And
one thing that we can't say anymore that we used to be able to say all the time, like we used to be able to say, it's a monster movie. It's supposed to be stupid, silly, fun. It makes you feel like an 8-year-old. Godzilla -1 is so brilliant and it's so substantive. and such a human story mixed with a monster. You can't say that anymore because they've done one that I don't think anyone ever could have thought they could do. That's that.
Well, and the original.
It's not a critic. It's not a knock.
No. But on that note, Klobby, the original Kong and Godzilla when they first came out were taken just as seriously as -1 was. Yeah, and that's where I'm like, we can live in a world where both coexist too, right? That's the beauty of it.
Well, okay, then if I'll have to update all I would say 99.9% of the time, these movies, no one wants them to be anything other than fun. And they happen to make something today of all times, 2023, 24, like Godzilla -1, which is a terrific substantive human film that happens to have freaking Godzilla in it. That's extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, I think the best best way to look at it is we've got two of the best examples of how to do these kind of movies in the last 6 months, right?
Yeah,
on both levels. It's like if you want to make one for the kids that is just a lot of
toys.
fun.
There you go. This will sell toys.
Sell toys. Exactly. Godzilla X Kong is a great example. You want something that's going to get the adults involved, and the kids are not going to be interested. But -1 was a great film, right? Not just a good Godzilla film; it was a great film. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's been a better time to be a kaiju fan, really, at this point right now. Exactly, Rob.
The special effects are so amazing too.
I think that there's some people who are making a big mistake trying to compare this in some way to -1, and I'm like,
you should not compare.
Because Toho benefits either way, Godzilla benefits either way. Because guess how many Godzilla fans like this movie is the gateway drug, right? You guys got to remember that. Like, there's a lot of kids that are 6, 7 years old who are going to see this now. In 10 years, -1 is going to blow their minds. Okay, you just got to understand that. Like, it's and that's nothing but a good thing. And the fact that this movie is good, it's not full of messaging, it's not bogged down in the crap that we've been complaining about the last few films. They kind of got the formula right now, if you ask me. Godzilla 2014 tried the super serious thing, and that didn't quite work out for them. So like they're better off in this arena to pull from a wrestling one.
And it does tie into the last movie. Of course, these are in the spoiler, but the girl is back with her stepmom, the deaf girl who's from the tribe that's from the Hollow World.
Yeah, and the Rebecca Hall character who's the continuing character. Like, they streamlined all the characters in this.
No Millie Bobby Brown though.
I think she was meant to be in this, and I think Kyle Chandler was too. And I almost wonder, watching this movie, if like Trapper was meant to be a new character, and then when they decided they were going to cut a lot of this down and streamline it or something like that, and they just combined his character with Kyle's, because he all of a sudden becomes like this survivalist, even though he's supposed to be a vet. Now I get it, vets will know some animal behaviors and stuff like that, but he literally starts taking on that role about midway point through the movie, and I'm just kind of going, huh. And I'm kind of not upset, because look, I like Kyle Chandler as an actor, but he was getting very one note in the last couple of movies. It's like, yeah, he's kind of coming off like the old dude in the Friday the 13th movies at this point.
We don't need you anymore.
We get it. Yeah.
Hail to Larry.
Hey,
Larry, and hail to Captain James T. or J.T. Kirk, rather. Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't sign in, so I can't join the chat, guys. But
I got you. Well, Steve's here, everyone. He's your Muslim uncle also.
Shazam is here.
Oh, and your Muslim uncle too. Yeah.
Yep. Could not be.
Well, I think Millie Bobby Brown wasn't in it because it didn't properly address the the monster patriarchy. We need equal time.
Actually, it kind of does.
I haven't seen it, so
yeah. Does it?
There's a bit of a patriarchy thing going on in the animal universe. Let's just say.
Yeah.
Is Godzilla a female?
No, but let's just say somebody has to come in and say, "All right, boys, that's enough."
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
Of the female persuasion, let's say.
Yeah.
But that doesn't get in the way of the,
No.
They couldn't have done it without them.
They don't overpower. Yes, there's like a few female lead characters in this, which look, Kong, on his part, he's got to always have either a blonde or a kid that he's fighting for, right? Or at least that he's protecting. And that's his gimmick. As long as it's one of those, I'm fine with one or the other. In this case, it's his little deaf girl back from the last movie, and I'm fine with that. So, and shaving off Millie Bobby Brown and her stupid friend and her dad and all those other characters we don't need. I'm glad, because this movie seems like they finally got the hint that we were getting at them. Like, just give us enough humans to give us a story. That's all we need.
I really hope
that whole.
Go ahead.
You always say that whole setup with all the Monarch, and I did like the Monarch TV series, but a TV series has more time to breathe and tell the background. All that setup and the gadgets and gizmos. I like it, but it just was way too long. Like you said, this armband that you see Kong wearing. I mean, the tech is amazing. I don't know how. Yeah, the tech that that we have in this movie with the flying vehicles, and it's just amazing. So basically, I can say Kong gets injured, and they need something to help him. And they said it's part of the Mechagodzilla project to try to help, make like an exoskeleton for Kong, I guess. So, of course, it's right, in the Hollow world, and it's very convenient. But as Tom said, it's like a 2-minute setup on how that gets on his arm. So, like, yeah, they didn't waste like a half-hour designing the thing and getting it all set up. So it was pretty cool too, the way the thing worked, and it kind of makes sense in universe. It's totally ridiculous.
Well, that's really all the humans are there for, is to explain this stuff to us.
Yep.
That's really all they're there for the most part.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, is the I'm not gonna call it Baby Kong, but is the I don't know what the character's name, but is he in the trailer? I'm kind of letting the cat
Mini Kong,
Mini Kong.
In fact, I even released the clip of when he first shows up in the movie. So I saw that before I saw the movie.
Okay.
So I give him credit with not going the overly cutesy route with him.
Yeah.
Oh, not
at all. Eric K is there. Hey, Eric K. How's it going, Eric K?
Yeah, Eric K can join us.
Yep. Hope you had a great Easter, and hope your whatever you're cooking, the flare up didn't hurt it. Hope I'm sure it came out great. Great. Yep.
I'm really hoping that Kong gets nominated for an Oscar. His performance is great in this. It's really an amazing performance. I think he's Oscar worthy or close for sure. So
if he was trans, definitely he would get a nomination.
He might be. I don't know.
Wow.
What do you?
Kong didn't, but Zilla sure did transition in this movie.
Only for a while. I went back. Remember?
Did he get back to this big regular size at the end? I didn't notice that or not. I just was laughing my ass off because of. He decided where his new bed was.
He got like a big cat. Yeah, the bed thing was kind of funny.
I thought that was cute.
They're gonna mess up the I'm spoiling it. He sleeps in the Coliseum, and of course, if you've been to the Coliseum, if you've been to the Coliseum, you know that there's actually a whole labyrinth beneath the Coliseum where they had kept all the animals, and they would raise the animals up with primitive elevators they have, and they've actually just restored it. So I just got to see it last year. It's pretty amazing. So he probably Godzilla trashed all that work that they did in Rome, and then as he's trashing stuff in Rome, I'm like, I've been there. I see where that is. It's like that's right near the Airbnb that we rented. Oh no, I hope we didn't step on it. But yeah, God, they trash so many buildings in this movie, and it's like, oh, the humanity, of course, but it's done in a cartoony way where you don't see anyone. But I'm like, oh my God, I was thinking of man.
They kind of, if you listen to the background, they evacuate a lot of these cities already. So like,
not that last one. There was no chance.
Not the last one, but like, but like the early ones they talk about, like even the background. That's where you first learn about Zilla shows up in Rome or whatever, because he's going around. For those who don't like, just real quick for the minor spoiler, or not minor spoiler, but story point. Like they can't figure out what he's up to, but they know he's going around collecting a bunch of fuel, basically. Because he starts by taking out a nuclear power plant, then he takes down another Titan and all this other stuff. And they know he's up to something, but they can't figure out what. But he just decides he's going to take a nap in the middle of it all. He just rolls up into the Coliseum. And the joke is he goes back there at the end because like he just decided, yep, this is where I fits. This is where I sit. Like
just saved all your asses. I'm going to go take it out here.
Yeah. And that got the biggest reaction from the audience where I was at too. They really liked that. They laughed at that pretty loudly.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Eric K's dinner came out great. Was not ruined. You hit a flare up. He told me about when you cook on the grill. It's tricky sometimes. You get a flare up. But Yeah, I'm just laughing as a Coliseum. You know, these all these old classic buildings that are getting.
We actually looked it up. He would fit, but he would have to curl up like that, like he does.
Well, yeah.
He would, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Coliseum is pretty huge, yeah. And some other landmarks. I guess I shouldn't say what gets destroyed, but there's some other major landmarks that pretty much get totaled. And I'm like, that country pretty much depends on these for all their tourism and half of their GDP. I'm like, are they going to rebuild these, or what's going to happen? But
you know, the funniest thing about this whole thing is somebody said this on a comment on our review from the other night, was this movie looks so fake. CGI was horrible. I'm like, oh yeah, I know. Like, old movies look so much better when it was a guy in a suit smashing toys.
Yeah.
Are you seriously going to go after this movie's effects? Like,
you know my theory about CGI.
I don't like it either, but this was not that bad. Like, there was not any
theory
point.
About CGI is people have obviously we know it's CGI because we know it. We just know what it is because it can't be anything else, right? We know it's not practical effects, and we know that you can't make those monsters do all that crap. So people always automatically go, the first thing to say is bad CGI, bad CGI. All the time, like, well, I guess I'm blind because it looked pretty cool to me. I mean, not that I'm sure it's not always. Now, our buddy Steve here is an animator. He knows all about this stuff. And to me, it looks really great in this movie. But I mean, I've seen it sometimes. I can see once in a while and go, yeah, okay, that might not be the best right there. But the fact is, every movie now, because they do use CGI so much, all you hear is bad CGI. Bad. You never used to hear that about practical effects that much. It just seems to be like I think
but sometimes you see like, oh, that looked cheesy.
Point is, we know there really isn't a Godzilla. We know there really isn't a Kong. So automatically, people are going to say, well, and they're not. We know they don't use guys in suits anymore. At least they're not in this.
Yeah, no, but like the surprising one for me was -1 when I didn't realize how much of that was practical effects. Yeah.
Yeah, but in this, we know it's all CG, but it looks fine to me. It looks
fine. And I'm comparing it to like their latest Marvel type stuff that we see, especially like and stuff like that. Like, this looks fine. Could it be better? I'm sure if they had an extra 6 months to a year to work on it, it could be better. Is it like Planet of the Apes quality? No, but it's fine. Like, I didn't think there was anything that looked too cartoony or anything out of the, other than the fact of what we're, like you just said, Klobby, I think you're like, obviously Godzilla and Kong don't really exist and they couldn't really do any of this shit. But it looked good enough to me. It was like, if I was fine with it, and I'm not a big fan of CGI anyway, so
it's here, and if it's a good story in a movie, it doesn't bother me in the least. I mean, maybe it looks better. Sometimes it looks better than others, but if it's a good movie, I don't have anything against it either. But I do. That doesn't mean I don't look back at old practical effects and go, "Wow, that is pretty cool."
You know what? Though,
how hard that was to make those. But if the only thing is, if it's a good story, doesn't bother.
Exactly. Well, and even the story is thin. I'm not going to sit here and defend the story, but look.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting in the theater seeing this on a DLX screen in Dolby Atmos in 3D. I was like an 8-year-old. Okay, like the only thing I was missing was like a bowl of the sugariest, marshmallowiest cereal you could, and me being in my PJs on Saturday. Like, that's what it transported me back to being a child, right? Like, that little boys are going to friggin' love this movie. And I'm glad, because that's one thing I can say. This movie was basically made for little boys. And if girls want to go too, great, because they'll probably be able to at least follow the mother-daughter story if they're not really into monster smashing, right? But boys are going to love this, because there's more monster smashing, and this is the closest thing I've seen to a movie that actually knows its audience. And I don't know how many years now that we've been doing this, right? Yeah. Like, they know what they're doing here. It's not like they're pretending. It's like, we know our audience is primarily 8 to 12-year-old boys. Okay. We're going to give them exactly what they want.
When I was 8 years old, it was the guys in the suits, and I loved it then. And if I were 8 today, I would love this. I mean,
exactly. That's my point, Clive. Like, if I was 8 years old, I couldn't love this movie more. Right, like that's the thing. This would be my new favorite movie.
And hail to Eric K, who says, "Thank goodness I have member messages and super chats." So this is for you, Eric K, and Tom, you'll appreciate this too.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
11.
Yeah, your theater probably with that Dobley theater. I got to clip that Dobley line. I might have it somewhere, but the Dobley line.
She means Dolby.
Dobley. Dobley.
Fine line between stupid and clever.
Brogu from my old hotel. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Brogu.
He's from my
husband.
old hotel.
Lucky man, yes. Except for he gets to put up with the craziness too, probably.
Oh, I did watch a lot of Godzilla on WPX at NYC.
Yeah, see, and that's what I did growing up too. Like Saturday nights and Friday nights, you know, and you had Monster Vision or whatever it was on TNT with Joe Bob and all those where they'd have the monster movies. I loved that stuff growing up, you know. And to me, that's what this felt like. It's like it's an old school fun. Go to the movies, forget about all the other bull crap in the world. Buy some popcorn and something really fizzy to drink, and you'll have a good time.
Get your snow caps, which the Easter Bunny brought me today, thankfully.
There you go.
I got a box.
Snow caps. You didn't have any snow caps.
I got my snow caps.
What did you buy? I was mad they didn't have any regular sweet tarts anymore. All they had was weird stuff.
I got robbed of snow caps today. The theaters, there's no movie theaters that should not have snow caps. Damn them.
They had Raisinets, but I wasn't in the mood.
Yeah, I like those too, but
yeah, if it was another day, maybe. But I was just like, no, I wanted some sweet tarts.
Oh, and RK rolling in with a super chat here. He says, "Tom, I like Dobley too. Dobby too. Sad when he died.
Not Dolby. Dolby.
Dobby.
Well, Tom likes turtles.
I do.
I like turtles.
And I like monkeys and lizards.
All right, what clip should we play for Eric K here for that super chat? There we go.
I protest. I am not a merry man.
I hate to tell you what that means, buddy.
Hey, that looks like they're in a race there, like when Superman and Flash.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's like the Superman Flash race.
Yeah.
Call him to be
faster. Yeah.
Kong to be faster. I love again. There's a couple of scenes in there where Kong, they really managed to get the emotions out of him really well. I mean, you get into him as a character, and they show how smart he is. And like this one scene when he goes into the thing with that's not too spoilery, but when he goes and meets all the other apes that are being enslaved by the what was it?
Scar,
Skarking. I mean, he walks in there. I'm thinking, and he's got his axe and everything. He's Conan, dude. He's like, man, I'll kill you all. I'll fight you all.
I see what you're doing here, and I do not like it. Why did you hit the little boy? I will hit you now.
Yeah, he's a bad mother. And like when he just kills the serpent,
Actually, he'd say something cool. He'd be like, I saw you hit the boy. The difference is I hit back.
And your Muslim uncle rolls in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, your Muslim uncle. He says, makes me wish my cousin and I still lived in the same town. We totally would have watched it together back then, and now we watch and call each other. So thank you so much.
That's cool.
Nice. Next best thing.
It'd been hilarious if they had like Schwarzenegger and Stallone do the voices of Kong. Like you can hear the thoughts. We need to go beat that ape up. I don't care. I got nothing to do with
somebody
that.
should take
your help.
Somebody should do voiceovers when this comes out on DVD. They can record it.
I could do it.
You do that, yeah. That'd be hilarious.
Show me where the apes are. Yes. I will beat them all.
And this is for your Muslim uncle.
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
What?
Don't cross the streams. Why? It would be bad.
It would be bad.
I don't care about no apes. I'm just going after Disco Dino.
Your Muslim uncle, if you come to Vegas, I will go see this movie with you.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
He probably lives close to you.
Big Arnold. It's not a
pretty good Arnold too.
It's not a
He's very good.
It's not a
He's a tumor.
Get to the chopper.
Claudia, you need to do your. I don't know if Tom has heard your Scotty. Tom, he does the best Scotty.
Oh yes.
I agree. No, I don't. Hello, computer.
Because Howard Cosell sucks. But his Scotty, Scotty is better than James Doohan.
Well, let me tell you one thing, sir. I bet Only Tom can do a better Howard Cosell than me. How dare you, sir?
Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. Yeah, it's been a while since I've heard him. I'd have to listen to him again. But no, yeah. Your Scotty is really good, though. I like it.
Oh, thank you. He hates my Johnny Carson, too. Do you got a Johnny Carson, Tom?
Hey,
Johnny, not really.
You do a lot of great impressions. Actually,
thank you, buddy.
Tom, I did at the Salt Lake Comic Con. I did an impression of Clobby doing an impression of
Christopher Lloyd. Got a standing ovation in a room full of 300 people. Oh, wow.
Except for just about everybody has a Christopher Lloyd. Yeah.
Except for Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd said, "Stop that!
I don't sound anything like that."
Wallace Shawn, by the way, loved my Wallace Shawn impression. But Clobby is like the new Rich Little. He's Rich Big.
I love
not really, buddy, but you're just.
I love Shatner when he's talking about impressions because he never thinks anybody sounds anything like him.
Well, they always do the exaggerated thing. Like Kevin Pollak is hilarious.
That's the problem. Everybody does Kevin Pollak impression.
It's like to the point. It's funny, but it's not really accurate. It's caricature.
No, because he does do that, but you got to do it correctly. Everybody overdoes it. Yeah. You're right. Everybody's doing an impression of Kevin Pollak doing an impression of him.
Right.
100%, you are correct, sir.
When the actual Shatner sounds more like, like Scotty, beam me up, that kind of thing. Like he would do the, the whole Scotty, beam me up. He'd get really into it. And the old Shatner is just, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, Jim does a fun Shatner.
Larry is requesting the Gorn, but that might kill your voice this early in the.
I don't even remember what the Gorn sounds. Oh yeah.
I shall be merciful, Captain. If you will come, I shall kill you quickly.
Tom made a good. Is it okay can I call you Tom?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can call you Midnight if you want.
No,
you made a really good point. When people do impressions of a lot of people, they're doing impressions of impressionists.
Yes.
Of Rich Little or, like you said, Kevin Pollak or some of those people doing the impression.
Frank Gorshin.
Actually, I think
he was good.
I think my Wallace Shawn is an impression of you doing Wallace Shawn as well.
Oh.
Inconceivable. Remember he was on Deep Space Nine all the time. Quad.
Never going against a Thafilian when death is on the line.
Inconceivable.
Yep.
Inconceivable. Inconceivable. Inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I do that impression, and Maddie thinks I'm doing the T-Rex from Toy Story.
Oh, yeah,
well, it is.
It is.
Or Bob Parr's boss in The Incredibles. Bob.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is in that. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
And
true love is the greatest thing in the world. Except for a nice MLT, a mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich when the mutton is nice and lean and the tomatoes are ripe. They're so perky. I love that.
Tom, did you see that? Hey, D-Bug, what's up, dude?
Hey, D-Bug.
He's calling you out, Steve. He says, why is Thor dressed like Shazam? Oh, my God, controversy.
Oh, you're going to open up that can of worms. So
it's Captain Marvel to you, buddy, but good.
That's true. As Clobby and Mark have heard until they want to beat me, with a tire iron, the TV show Shazam back in the 70s is what got me into all this stuff. I was a fat kid who would probably be dead now of heart disease, like every other man in my family, had it not been for Shazam. Because Shazam got me into comics. That got me into the Incredible Hulk, where I found out that Lou Ferrigno lifted weights. Because I thought people were just born with muscles. And that to me is like Superman. I think the Clobby or the Adam West Batman. It's what got me in. And then I met the second guy to play Captain Marvel in the TV show, a guy named John Davey, who was a Marine and a boxer and all kinds of other stuff. And he was like the nicest guy ever. Like he let me talk to him forever, and so I became a bigger fan. But I mostly wear this shirt because Maddie thinks it's Lightning McQueen. From
that shows the generation gap, and I love that because one year for Halloween I had I dressed up as Freddy, but just because I didn't want to scare the kids, I didn't do any makeup, right? I just had the hat, the glove, the shirt, the pants, all that bit. All the parents instantly, they're like, oh, cool, because I had like a real claw and stuff. They're like, that looks awesome. One kid comes up to me and goes, your claw is kind of cool. The rest of your Wolverine sucks.
Tom, one year I made, like 20 years ago, I made a Captain America back when I was lifting weights. I could kind of pull it off. I made a Captain America costume, and I entered a costume competition where nobody knew who Captain America was. Guy introduced me as Flash Gordon.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and it didn't help on my behalf. I'll give the kid this much, because then I actually had color in my hair, and I still had some hair, and I had like chops, so I kind of looked like, at least in the face, like, you know, with a little bit of up here going away, you know, whatever. Kind of looked like, you know, I had a hat on, but at that point he just saw the chops and the claw. But I had the red and green sweater and the rest on. He's just probably going, that's not something Wolverine would wear. You know? And I looked at his mom. I said, right there's the generation gap.
Yeah,
Every kid knew who the fuck Freddy was right away. Instantly, like, that was one of the weirdest things growing up. Like, it felt like Freddy was there my whole life, even though he didn't come into the picture until 84. He just permeated the culture that hardcore so fast that it was just like, he was one of those things like that felt like he was always there.
Yeah, because Robert
He's gone
Englund
away now, though, right?
Robert Englund was on the first, when he was on the first V miniseries. He's not even in the open. There was like a million people in the opening credits. He's not until like mentioned like way into the end credits. I was watching that again recently, and then later, then after, in between that one and V the Final Battle, he did Nightmare on Elm Street, and just boom.
But exploded. Oh, I just want to say hail to Jay Price. Welcome to Sunday Night Geekery, and thank you for being here.
Hail.
Hey,
Joe Dog, what would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
Yeah, I would.
Tom, speaking of the generation gap, I do my impression of Cliff Claiborne, which is probably, again, an impression of Clobby doing it. But for my daughter, it's pretty much every Pixar movie. You know, the Pig and Toy Story, the Mack Truck.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because he's been in all of them.
And he's also been in every Richard Donner Superman movie, and he's been in The Empire Strikes Back. But that's not here to there.
He was in The Empire Strikes Back?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. He was in on Hoth. He was one of the guys on Hoth for about 5 seconds. Oh, man, dude. Transports, let's go. That's about it.
And Star Wars related, I was just a minor aside, but my son's girlfriend has never seen any of the Star Wars movies. So all weekend I was putting Star Wars
she's a
on
kid,
the
though.
She's 22 years old.
Yes, meaning a kid. Yeah.
I know, but how could you go through your life? She's like, what's kind of my thing now watching Star Wars? I'm like, not if you're going to stay with my son. It's teasing. So,
oh, my goodness.
Her name happens to be Maddie, too, but Madeline. So, but I was teasing. Like, I put it on the iPad. Deal. Well, I was starting with the one that has no name. Like, we're going to watch Star Wars.
Star Wars. No name. Nobody A, B, D, Episode 4, or any of that. New Hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yes, I was teasing her all week, and I'm like, you got to watch Star Wars. And I'm like, $5 if you watch Star Wars with me. Like, we're not watching Star Wars tonight.
You're going to ruin it for her. By the way, you talk about movies that some people just say, I don't know, Tom, did you see that our buddies with Retro Blasting, Michael, he and Melinda did a show about 80s movies that everyone loves that they hate. And I was telling Tom about they hate Princess Bride and E.T. Yeah, they hate it.
What?
Yeah, I couldn't be there for that one. I would have.
They've always hated it. I've known that forever. But
yeah,
Princess Bride is a flawless movie.
I love it. I mean, I'm just,
After Casablanca, that's, I think, my favorite movie.
I think, and this has always been kind of a theory about Steve, though, is that sometimes hype can inadvertently kill a movie. For some people, for example, I've seen some movies that got really, really hyped, and when I saw them, I agreed with the hype. But there have been a few times where everyone and then their mothers are saying, "Oh, this is the greatest movie ever." But for whatever reason, I didn't intentionally avoid it, but some didn't get around to seeing it until much later. And then when I saw it, I was like, "Yeah, it's okay." But that I don't know if that's psychological. I don't know.
Citizen Kane.
Citizen
Kane. If I hadn't heard all the Rosebud is a sled stuff, maybe it would have been cool, but
and I'm sure that's happened to people on even obviously the movies that we love, or it happens, I guess. But again, it has happened both ways for me. Like there've been times, one for me, for example, that'll shock people is Pulp Fiction. I like it. I saw it like 6 months after it came out because I just didn't really want to see it. I liked the movie fine, but I'm not that that super into it.
Went south.
Yeah,
I love that movie. Yeah.
It's not like I hate it either. I'm just saying, I'm not saying I'll go in hating it. Like, for example, E.T.'s another one. And that I only saw that a little bit late because I tried to go to the theater. E.T. I tried to go to the theater to see it the first night. And Richard Pryor was in town filming The Toy, and he bought all the damn tickets. So I had to wait like 2 weeks. By the time I go see it, everyone's so great. Oh my God. I don't hate E.T., but at the time I was a little annoyed, I guess. I went in with some bad. I
think you almost would have to be a certain age to see E.T. at that time,
18 years old, and that's another problem.
I think you're the wrong age. Yeah.
But it was, I just thought, now.
Too old and too young.
The few times I've seen it since then, I love the soundtrack. I love the score by Williams.
Right.
Okay movie, but I still don't think it's very good.
I can imagine, though, E.T. coming out in 1982 for an 18-year-old would be like, somebody, trying to go see a Disney movie. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I've been going to see Wrath of Khan every week. I was going to see Tron a million times. John Carpenter's The Thing. Yeah, I wasn't interested in that too much, but I went.
No, I totally get that. Yeah.
But if you're a 12-year-old kid, I think I saw when I was 13, 14.
5 to
I didn't think young and even obviously skewed younger, but I thought it was a really good movie, but I didn't think, this is the next.
Our local critic gave it a masterpiece rating. A rating he never gave out.
It's a well-constructed movie, and Elliot is such a damn good actor in that with the crying with E.T.
Well, it's not just that. Like, it's one of the first movies we ever had where there wasn't a comedy, at least, where the alien was treated not like a villain, right? Like, that's one thing that you got to take away from it, first and foremost.
It's a great point.
Secondly, Spielberg is just one of those masters of storytelling, like John Carpenter and a few rare other Scorsese, who can just, no matter what, even if you're not that interested in the movie, you could still walk away from going, yeah, it's a well-made film. I didn't find it all that interesting as far as a story, but it was well done. And you add in John Williams' music,
the relationships,
the performances, a brilliant score.
Yeah, and it does capture. It's kind of like it does capture a little bit of piece of time. And now I think the mistake. Now, like, you're never going to get away from the fact that it has like the Titanic effect or some of these other kind of effects, that these bigger films have with certain people. And just on the level, like with you, Clobby, where you're just probably a little off of the age group for that film at that time. Maybe that's just it. Because older people got into it, younger people got into it, but I could totally see a teenage rebellion
18-year-olds against it. Like it.
Right. But the other thing is Spielberg made the mistake of, first of all, he wouldn't release it on video until, I can't remember how many VHS machines were sold in the US, but I don't know if you guys knew this, but like that was his whole stipulation he wasn't going to release it until I think it was like 5 or whatever, or 50 million or whatever. I don't remember the number. Magic number he had in his head of VHS,
players were out there, you mean?
Players were out in the market, sold basically. Yeah. At that point, then he's like, okay, then I'll release it, which he did in 1989. Almost 7 years after the movie was relevant. That was a big mistake, first of all. So you had it was a big seller on video, but I'm like, dude, had you released that in 85, 84, you'd have been better off. Because then it was not such a big deal for a movie to, like, for instance, Return of the Jedi didn't come out on video till 1986.
Yeah.
Like, so it was not abnormal for big movies like that to run for about a year or two in theaters, then get a video. Roger Rabbit was another one too, yeah.
Usually took a few years,
That's in your head.
Oh, we got a request here from RT and Z.
Because he's Tom.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
I wish I knew how to sum things up.
I saw that in the theater and just loved it the first time.
I wasn't going to see it, and my brother, my brother Tim, Clobby, he said, Steve, you will love this movie. I'm like, The Princess Bride, really? And he said you can't go by the title,
Yeah.
I didn't want to either. I was like,
I literally had the experience of Fred Savage watching that movie. Like, I was that age-ish. I was like, and my dad's like, we're going to watch this. And he's like, you're going to like it.
Wow.
That's right.
When I was your age, television was called books.
Books.
Like
Tom, thanks for making me feel even older than I am.
Sorry.
I was in college.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was kicked out of college.
I was gonna say I'm used to Clobby being the older guy, but yeah.
No, I'm not the oldest guy here tonight.
I'm the oldest guy. Oh no, I take it back. I think D-Bud has a couple of years on me.
Yeah, he's not here though. He could come in and join us.
No, he's here.
I know he's in the chat. Yeah. He's not in the chat, but he's here. I think
he's a little older too. Yeah,
D-Bud is 97, I think. So yeah.
So what are our assets here tonight?
On our assets?
Of course, you can't use that word on the stream. Well, probably okay, but
then he just after that he just kind of at that point I don't think ET had really been as much of a thing anymore. Like Star Wars hung around, and he didn't re-release it until a little later, and then when he did, he mucked it up by changing the guns into walkie-talkies, and that damaged ET so badly that to this day.
Yeah.
Even though the movie's been released 3 or 4 times since then, and he has never released that version ever again, people still think that's the version that there is because of the stigma. And I have to tell people, no. He's even, in fact, when that came out, he released the other version on disc with it because of the backlash. Like he backtracked that big time, and he never went back. Right? Like, so you buy it now, it's the old version. Yeah.
And he had called out George Lucas for changing Star Wars, and then he did the same damn thing with ET, and then he came back and said, "Yeah."
Well, that's what I'm saying is like he's released this at least 5 times since this special edition version that is the 20th anniversary edition here. This is the only time you could get this on disc. After this, you can't get the special edition anymore. It's only the theatrical.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter. They don't. You can't.
We can't. There you go. Yeah.
Like, see, this has both versions on it though. Even though this is one that was released for the 20th anniversary, but this is like the 5th or 6th release since then on 4K. And it's been on Blu-ray, DVD, re-released on DVD, and ever since then they never re-released that.
You can't get that version, right? Yeah.
No, you can only get it on that old disc. Yeah.
I think Tom has a few movies. What do you think?
Only
1 and 2. Only a couple. Yeah.
Tom is
I'm building my collection.
Tom, do you have The Princess Bride?
I do, at least 4 or 5 copies.
Good man.
Dude,
I have the old Blu-ray. I've given away the DVD that I had. I've probably a couple DVDs that I had. I've got the 4K import plus the new Criterion one. Yeah.
And what bugs me on my sets when I buy them now, because I'm rebuying all my top movies in 4K if it comes out. I don't have nearly as a extensive collection as Tom, but I put all my discs in a disc holder so it was like slots so I can pull them out, and I put the cases away. But now a lot of times the 4K disc, the DVD will have all the special features, is one of the best things about the movie. So I'm like, oh crud, and I got to put both of them in my thing. Or sometimes I'll rip the special features to my Plex server, and then I can play them.
That's what I'd like to get, but I'd like to get that mainly just for TV shows, just because I love having discs, but like to go through a TV show when there's like tons and tons of discs, it can be a pain.
Oh God, yeah, it's
and then you forget where you're at, and you're like, shit, was on disc 4 or 5.
Yeah, Plex is just so good for that. Yeah, or sometimes I can't find the disc because I don't put it back in the right slot or something. Or
I'm notorious for that. Yes.
You have a stack of CDs or DVDs on the table somewhere that need to go back into the box.
I've got like 5 stacks of CDs and crap that I never got put back in their cases. Yes. You're right.
Yeah, so I did that like a month ago. I took all my DVDs out that were loose and I stacked them all up and reorganized everything. My wife was going crazy. God bless her. It's like, what's all this shit all over the room? And I put all the cases away. And then I made sure I used all my codes for the the digital versions. A few of them I actually hadn't used, and so then I got it all cleaned up. But it's.
I've been surprised by how some of those digital codes don't go bad, even though they've been bad since like supposedly 2012.
Yeah,
it'll still work.
Only a couple didn't work, but most of them worked. Yep. Oh, and Stephen Max says, I always wanted a Kyoto ETBMX. They're worth a fortune now. Yeah, I can imagine the bike. Of course, used for Amblin Entertainment's logo now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I am not cooking clam and pineapple pizza, but we will do some foodery tonight later.
What?
Clam pizza.
He makes clam pizza.
I make clam pizza. Well,
he's
I
not
love
joking.
clam pizza.
You know, much to Raquel's revulsion.
And mine.
And mine.
You've never heard of, Tom maybe doesn't know about this, but in the Northeast, Pepe's and Sally's on New Haven were some of the best pizza places on the planet. So one of their specialties is clam pizza. And I'm like, doesn't everyone love clam pizza? I mean, doesn't, like, what are you nuts?
You guys are friggin' weirdos up there, man.
No.
It's so good.
They are.
It's the same thing I say about pineapple. Look, it's a scientific fact. Pineapple goes bad the moment you put it on pizza, and so does.
But I do make good things like this too, right? See here. So there's my bacon.
Oh man, you're killing me. I want those right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
but like, look, I look at it this way.
Wrapped in bacon. Good.
We already got tomatoes pretending to be a vegetable on our pizza, right? So like, any other imposters are not allowed. If you want fruit pizza, you just make fruit pizza. Okay. Only meat and veggie belong on a pizza. The tomato gets a pass.
This is shit. I get it. Nick Weiser, one of these T-shirts that I have says "Eat more meat." All the vegetables, yeah.
Save a nanner, eat some meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before I go, and I'm about to leave, because I have to get up early in the morning every morning.
Oh, I hate that.
There's something I want to say real quick that's going to make everybody hate me because. I'm always an outlier. I don't even fit in amongst my fellow nerds. On Star Trek Saturday Night, everybody universally loves Barclay, who was meant to be an insult to nerds.
Yeah, I love
and everybody, even though he's he's an FU to you, Mike, and to me.
It's okay. I can take it. He's still a great character.
And they, they finally came out and admitted this. I've been saying it for like decades, which is why I don't like him. I mean, all the things they do with that guy that they're insulting us with. And at the same time, everybody hates Neelix. And Neelix, although he started out as kind of a space pirate wannabe kind of guy, he turned into a love letter to nerds.
You gonna try to defend Neelix now?
Neelix, he's not a big guy. He's not a handsome guy. He's not charming. He's pretty much us. But excluding the first season, he's pretty much a love letter to nerds. He's always supportive. He's always cheerful. He always does the right thing. Like I said, after the first couple of seasons, and so I just it boggles me that people love a character that is meant to make fun of us, and they hate a character that is
it blew up in their face. Then if that was the intention, I know it was, but first of all, Dwight Schultz is a terrific actor and very charismatic. Ethan Phillips, I mean, he may be good in something somewhere, but Neelix is just a loathsome character to me. I mean, he's not, in other words, it wasn't premeditated. Like I said, I'm going to dislike this character. I just don't find him likable and I find him annoying. Now, Barclay, I guess you could have written him annoying, but I thought it was a fascinating story about hollow addiction. That first episode he was in. I thought.
I mean, and the insinuation is that all the people like us can't get a girl.
Well, remember, Geordi.
So we have to,
Geordi had the same problems.
Yeah, Geordi too. I mean, that is true. They did kind of use the same insult twice.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Neelix is us, man. People find us annoying. People find us uncool. But most of us still do the right thing. I mean, you never hear of, a bully named Scott, because just about everybody named Scott is going to be a nerd, right? So
I don't know if Tom has seen this, but this is the mascot of Star Trek getting played now.
Draw that man in a chicken suit.
It's the Chicken Man!
Yeah, that's what we call him, the Chicken Man.
They call him the Chicken
friend
Man.
Are going to be big bugs. My daughter and I watch this every night.
Which one? Ew. Why do you have to show that shit? Jesus,
I didn't show the feet. There were no feet in that clip.
Oh, I hate him. It's such always
clip just for you.
Horrible. I didn't choose to hate him.
look at poor Neelix.
Ew.
You know, that brings up another point. Even though Neelix is a small, weak, nerdy guy, you know, at the end, what does he do? He goes to put his life on the line to protect other people, and becomes an adoptive dad to a kid that's not his. I mean, it's kind of like I said, he's a love letter to nerds. You know.
Well,
the problem is his character gets to be so annoying. That's the
just
problem.
annoying to me. I can't help it.
But that's how people see us.
I don't think
maybe not Mark, because Mark was a powerhouse. Mark was like a power lifter and stuff in high school.
Well, people are seeing me as annoying. I'm glad. Good. Let them do it. I don't care. I like annoying people.
Okay.
I just think I see your point there, Steve, but I just think he ends up being such a damn annoying character and so poorly written. And you know, it's just that's where the and Barkley, maybe that was meant to make fun of us nerds. And but yeah, he becomes such a lovable character that everyone.
Dwight Schultz is terrific. I mean, he's just
Schultz
really
so
lovable.
great. Yeah.
Putin's cat. I think we would do the same. I think we would abandon a ship full of aliens to protect our own people, especially children. I think that's an admirable thing. But on that note, I have to get up early in the morning. So, Tom, it was great sharing the screen with you for a little. It was a big honor. You're
nice
kind of you're spoken in hushed whispers around these parts. So,
that's true.
So it was an honor. Klobby, it was more than an honor.
Hi, buddy. See you soon, bud.
Nope. Mark, sorry to bring your channel's ratings down. Please don't.
No, my God, no. Come on,
you bring this channel's ratings down, Steve. We'll do a special on you. I'll see you and I'll see you soon, right?
Leave us, Micus, the thoughts of one man to
another.
Yeah, I will see you in about 2 weeks.
All right.
You can only speak in movie quotes to each other when you meet.
That's all we ever.
Well, we never do anyway.
Every time I ever knocked on Klobby's door, every single time he does this. Would you be a pet and mail this for me?
Yes.
From the first Superman.
Superman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the other one. Nobody will get this, but it was from the Incredible Hulk TV show with Eric Kramer, who played Little John in Robin and Men in Tights.
Men in Tights, yeah.
Yeah, where I'd open the door and Clyde would say, "What is it that you knock on my door with such insolence?"
Yes. That was quotable.
Anyway, I will be listening in until the sleeping pills take effect. So have a good night.
All right, buddy.
Take care. Thank you for being here. Yep.
Later.
And Eric K rolled in with darn it, Mark, I just ate. So we'll play.
Yeah, good God, man.
Sorry about that, but here I'll show the bacon after. But here's the nerd.
Get those nerds! Nerds! What?
And
Jake, if I never see another clan,
it'll be too soon.
There we go. So thank you for that, Eric K.
Tom, have you ever seen Dark Star?
Yes, the John Carpenter movie.
Yeah. Reason I ask is because last night on Saturday Star Trek, there was a Voyager episode that we reviewed that is such a direct ripoff of it. Raquel didn't know because she hadn't seen it, and I didn't mention anything to her about it. I was just going to make a crack about it and go on with our review. But Gwagnar told her about it. And he made a funny meme about it and everything. And man, it is such a blatant ripoff of it. So, I mean, because it's an episode about a talking bomb, a sentient bomb, which is one that was insane. By the way,
yes.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you'd seen it or not. But it's been a while, but
it's just got a lot. It's the same concept basically. So yeah. So
my name's not Pinback.
Pinback's the best. That freaking beach ball has more personality than Neelix. I'm sorry.
I complained, but it fell on deaf ears.
I love it.
And I think D. Bud Martin said it out. So good night, D. Bud Martin.
D. Bud.
Thank you.
If you haven't seen Dark Star, you should check it out.
Yeah, it's fun. You have a 4K of that, or did they do one?
No, it has a Blu-ray release of it. It's not the best in the world. It's all right. But,
dang.
It's a movie that I guess is in pretty rough shape, so I don't know.
Isn't there a longer DVD of it or cut of it or whatever?
I would imagine the version I have is probably the most complete version. I believe it's like 70 some minutes long or whatever. But Yeah, no, like I think there might even be some deleted clips on there too, but no, there's a pretty decent Blu-ray out there of it. Look-wise, it could be better, but considering from my understanding how limited the
because didn't that start out as a student film back?
Yes, yeah, I believe it was even shot on 16 millimeter, for instance. So
yeah, so 4K might not help it. Might not help it actually.
It depends on if they can get their hands on the negative still or not. That's my main thing. Like if they, because it sounds like the version they have here on the version that's out now is probably the best version available. My only issue with it is it's got a lot of DNR on it, which is digital noise reduction. So
it screws, it just screws things up. Like
a little, yeah.
I was showing the despecialized edition to my brother-in-law, who's a video guy, who actually worked on the special features on the Star Wars DVD. He filmed
cool.
Mark Hamill, and he filmed James Earl Jones. He's only seen the movies like one time. He's not a Star Wars fan, and his name is in effing credits. So he's like, and we're talking Star Wars all the time. And he was gonna quote unquote hire me for the day to go over to New York City to film. And he's
I think I remember you telling me this.
I think I saw the story, yeah. And then I'm like, I can bring some Star Wars stuff and maybe at least to be on the other people that they hire just independent people to film, the interviews with the actors. So the other actors had props behind them. I'm like, see, Paul, I could have given you props and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that would have been so cool to have had like a prop there was a back to tank that I always wanted to buy, Luke and back to tank figure. And I always wanted to buy that, and I could have justified that. Then I could have had that like in the scene behind Mark Hamill. But he said, I probably won't get into too much trouble saying this, but he's like, Mark Hamill was not too happy about having to film that day. I don't know if he got paid or not, but he's like, anything Georgie Porgy wants, whatever George wants, George gets. Because I guess at that time too, he didn't get paid anything for his likeness. He only got money when the movie was in theaters, and his career never really took off like some of the other actors did. And so but he said, boom, as soon as the camera went on, he was, quite a different person. But he said, he was very friendly and nice, of course. But, then his career took off doing the Joker and the voiceovers. And now he's, much more acclaimed. But he was kind of pigeonholed in that Luke Skywalker character. So I can see as an actor where you get some of those feelings. But in James Earl Jones, when he walked in, he said, don't ask me. I'm not saying it. I only say it for my grandkids. And my brother-in-law thought it was Luke. I am your father. No, it's not Luke. I am your father. It's like, no, I am not your father. Yep. Oh, back to take. No, it was a 1/6 scale action figure. Yeah, where did I put the back to tank in the basement, the dining room? Yeah. So yeah. So, yeah, that was fun with my brother-in-law getting to, hang out all day. And he's like, yeah, maybe I should have hired you for that one. Just stand in the corner there. That would have been fun. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just Star Wars is just such a part of our cultural landscape. It's hard to believe that some people haven't seen it. So
Mark does more for George than he does his grandkids. Sorry, I had to.
Yeah. Good one. Yep. And hail to Eclay. Yep. But yeah, so it was it's a fun thing. So I watched that DVD. But and then that's what I was going to get to. I did that whole segue. So he's a video guy, and he's like, wow, this looks a little bit even too grainy, so they can go the opposite directions, either the specialized edition or one of those maybe it was 4K 77. It looked like they added a little bit too much grain to it. But the other way, like wasn't the new Planes, Trains, and Automobiles an abomination? The new 4K? Or
I have no idea. I that's one I still haven't been able to find out what happened there. I really wish I knew the answer.
But it looks horrible, right? Just keep my old Blu-ray and I'm fine.
I mean, it looks a little bit better than the old Blu-ray, but the old Blu-ray was nothing about to begin with. Yeah. It reminds me of what happened, and it's probably most likely the same thing that happened to Footloose. And I had gotten into an argument with somebody who's a very well-respected person, a friend of mine, about it, because I wrote him and I'm like, I said, what the hell is wrong with Footloose? I said, they did something to it, or something is wrong, or this is an older scan or an upconverted. Something is off. It's like, no,
Something's wrong, yeah.
the film is blah 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 blah. And he just kept standing up for him, like, no. There's something wrong here. And then like a couple hours later, after we had kind of gotten done, we didn't really like fight, but it was just like, okay, I'll let him, go on with his day, and I'm just let it be. He comes back a couple hours later and he goes, update on Footloose. Evidently, it may have come from 11-year-old 4K scan of the inner positive. I'm like, well, that would answer all the questions that I'm having, or what I'm seeing here. Like, I was like, okay, so that makes sense. So that could be what happened with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. This is just an older.
They didn't scan the original negative then, or
they didn't scan the negative or something like that, because it just looks off. Like and they added some sort of. See, there's other forms of. See, we use the term DNR a little too much in our community. Unfortunately, it's not. We've used it as kind of a catch-all for a lot of things when it's really not accurate, because there's other things they're using now that do similar things, but not the exact same thing as DNR. So
it's basically a filtering effect.
It's
some type of
kind of like that. It's kind of like more so come to the forefront with the new James Cameron discs that have come out, because it is kind of like a form of AI, basically, of what they're using. Because there was one form of it called NEAT, NEAT, for a while they were using, that supposedly was balancing out the grain throughout the film based on the grainiest shot compared to the least grainiest shot,
which screws up the human element, right?
Yeah, and to me it's like, no, you just leave it alone. In fact, I hate it when they turn around and try to denoise, because, like, okay, for those who don't know, when they shoot a movie and they do it, sometimes you'll have spots in the film where, if it's a special effects shot, there's credits over it, there's a transition, it won't come directly from the negative. It'll come from whatever source they had at the time, especially the older optical films. So all of a sudden you'll have shots that look amazing, and then you'll dump down to something that looks like a third or fourth generation dupe, because that's exactly what it is.
Right? Add the special effects, they had to
add in whatever it is. And now sometimes to contradict this, they used to shoot a lot of special effects on 70 millimeter. Some films you can notice that it actually does, help the balance. But so to combat this,
it's a bigger negative for people. Yes,
exactly. So, but also, like,
more resolution.
If it's an older ass film and you got a scene that goes from, like, the negative to a transition scene, you're definitely going to notice a difference, because that film that was done at that time was a dupe of a dupe off the negative, usually, that they're using, that they send to one of these companies, and then they get it sent back, and they probably either don't have the original negative for it anymore, or they don't use it because they don't want to mess with the transition or whatever it is. So, like, it instead of just trying to just leave it alone, and knowing that us as film enthusiasts understand that, and the normal public will just have to deal with it for a shot or two and get over it.
Yeah, they
try to manipulate it and make it all
perfect.
Perfect. It's like all you're doing is just destroying the rest of the movie doing that kind of crap.
Yeah.
Now, Francis Ford Coppola is one of the only ones who's smart enough, for better or worse, depending on how you feel about how he's done it. Like, all of his movies, except for The Godfather, I think, he went back to he saved all the original elements, right? So he was able to do a complete 1-to-1 transfer for Apocalypse Now and The Outsiders and whatever other newer films he's done, to where he's been able to redo all the opticals and the titles and everything like that, to where there is
redo them with modern tech
degradation. And he, and to me, like, The Outsiders looks amazing. Now, some people haven't liked, because he did recolor time it, and there's some other differences like that. But, like, to me, I don't think those are even remotely as, because, I mean, the movie looks one of the best 4K I've ever seen, because he even took the opticals and recomposited them with computer, which some people were against, which I'm like, okay, I get where you're coming from. But now we're literally getting the negative on the negative, instead of getting a third, fourth, fifth, sixth generation dupe, because they had to combine, 6 or 7 elements in the optical printer. You know what I mean? And
it's tech that he would have used if he had it today. It's
exactly, and it's not doing anything that the old tech didn't do.
Yeah.
But I mean, that to me is a better way of doing, like, a quote unquote special edition than actually changing, because he's not changing anything, right? It's still the same old. Like, a great example, if you've seen The Outsiders, like, there's that end scene where they have the sunset and they have the two heads talking in the background. Well, that's like, 3 or 4 elements topped on top of each other. If he'd have done that from the old original optical, it would have looked like crap.
Yeah.
But what he did was just recombine it all with computer now. And since it's computer, you can use all the first generation, and it just looks great. It looks beautiful. And it doesn't look any different than the original shot. It's now been composed by a computer instead of been put together by optical effects is all.
Yeah, because he had the original effects. So, like for example, when they did TNG, when they did the Blu-ray version of TNG,
another example, yes, they actually recombined everything there too. Yes, yep.
Yeah, because they had the special effects back in the day were all SD, and they did have some CGI back in TNG. Of course, a lot more model work, but some CGI. But the CGI was all standard def, and all the effects work. So basically, they had to recreate Star Trek: The Next Generation. So thankfully, they had all the film, for the original.
Well, and they even recomposited all the opticals for that too, just like what Scorsese or Coppola did. I meant, sorry.
Yeah, no. So they rebuilt that whole show from scratch. They basically it was like they re-edited it, and then they redid all the special effects.
You guys should try and get Robert Meyer Burnett on one of these nights to talk about all the work they did on that, because he's got tons of stories that he's talked about on that.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to him about that. That's truly amazing. Yeah, and of course, on the side,
he's got a great.
He's the man on that. But Axoner's getting released tonight, and it's a lot of his footage in there that he's not getting credit for.
Is it finally getting released?
Is it getting released?
Yeah, one of the RMB had posted tonight that they were releasing something. I shouldn't say maybe it's not the whole film, but it was. And he's like, and on his Twitter feed, he said, "Look at that! That's footage that I edited and got sued for working on."
Wow!
Because I allegedly didn't complete it.
Wow.
So that's out. But yeah, he's the man for special features and talking about all that stuff and how they redid Star Trek, and he worked on all that stuff. And Babylon 5, what they did for Babylon 5 was they used AI to upscale the special effects that they had without redoing them to save money. But of course, anything they had on film, they could rescan, because film is HD, right? Film is high res. Even doesn't matter how old it is. That's why Star Trek TOS, they could just scan the final effect, and everything in film, it's all been done at that same resolution. But B5, they did the special effects upscaling, and I've been watching Voyager. I subbed to Paramount Plus, and it looks horrible on Paramount Plus. So since I own it, I downloaded, so I don't get in trouble. I downloaded a fan-based AI upscale. God, it looks a hell of a lot better than what's streaming. I mean, it just, and now especially with our big TVs, it's God, those old shows, back when I was watching when it came out on a 13-inch color TV, it didn't really matter, but you're watching on a 65-inch TV, even 55, who cares? 42-inch TV. It looks horrible. Sometimes.
Yeah, that's the downside of certain things, and they could fix it. They could do it, but it would take a lot more work in some ways than the TNG restoration. And from what I've heard from people like Robert and other people like Bill Hunt and stuff, who've said that Paramount just probably isn't going to undertake the kind of money or spend the kind of money it's going to take to do that undertaking.
They're not going to make money on it.
And not only that, you have all those special effects that are forever stuck in CGI. And I mean, I guess some of the guys saved some of the elements, so it's not like there couldn't be things done with it, but they just won't. Because as far as I know, they still haven't made their money back on the TNG restoration yet.
They lost money. So, they did lose money on the TNG. TOS, they had no, it was just scanning, and I'm sure they made their.
No, they did the new CGI effects for the TOS.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but I mean, I don't think that one was new. Like that one was only
simple,
not even 60 some episodes or whatever in comparison to the 7. What was it?
Yeah,
how many episodes is in TNG? Is it 700? Not 700.
No, it's 7 seasons. So it's like 144 or something.
Season. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I was thinking 7 seasons. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, 7 seasons. Yeah. TNG, TOS, there's 79 official episodes. We could say 80. We'll open up that can of worms. Yep. But it's just but what I'm hoping is, the AI, at least maybe for like a TV show like that, I could live with them just releasing like an AI version, upscaled, even though it kind of kills me as a purist. I'd rather have that someday if you're going to get nothing, but maybe in 10 years, the AI will get good enough where it's actually semi.
It's just sad that we have to rely on it. Like, I just can't with that. I mean, sometimes it's all right, like you said. I can understand it more so with video, but even then, 9 times out of 10, it does not, in my opinion, really do much of a better job. I mean, sometimes yes, but
and the Voyager, I was shocked at how much better it looked. I mean, it doesn't help the show, but when I'm watching it side by side, you know, with my DVD that I own, and then watching the AI upscale, yeah, it screws up in a bunch of places, but it's just
yeah, but that's also probably taken care of by fans as compared to if the company
yeah,
were to
it's
do
a
it,
fan.
they wouldn't care as much.
Yeah, it's a fan doing it. But remember how terrible the colorization that Ted Turner did eons ago, and they
Oh
wrecked,
yeah.
you know, wrecked all the movies. And now I've seen some colorized stuff. I'm against it 99% of the time, but some of them look pretty damn good. Or I've seen like old, you know, videos on YouTube where they, you know, they're showing New York in 1900 and let's colorize it to, you know, show what it might have looked like, you know, with the colors. I don't know how they figure out what the colors of everything are. But damn, it's really kind of cool. Or, you know, the World War I footage that what was the what was the movie 1917 or was it which is the movie that had the or no, which was the movie that had was the World War One movie? Was it 1917?
They were expendable or whatever, I think it was,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
1917 was one of those, anyway.
That started black and white, then went to color, and then went back to the.
Oh, that was an actual movie. I thought you meant the Peter
Yeah.
Jackson documentary one where they actually had the World War II footage. But
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to remember. But yeah, just bring. Yeah, it was Peter Jackson, right? He just but then he colorized it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And
yeah, I didn't mind the color, but his DNR job was kind of. He did the same thing to the Beatles. Let it be footage.
But that's I mean, just brings it to life, or you know, like March of the Wooden Soldiers. If you're gonna colorize that,
I actually have a couple movies colorized, and I agree with you. Like the new modern way they do it is a lot better than the older ones, but it just depends on what it is. And I don't.
Yeah, don't colorize Casablanca.
No, don't.
I do have a couple of sacrilegious ones, like Night of the Living Dead.
You colorize, yeah.
But that's just because I have this thing where I have like almost every version of Night of the Living Dead I've ever found, or like the main ones anyway. Not like because I couldn't really collect all of them. That movie's I think been released on video and disc more than any other movie in history, just because it was
Living Dead. Well, how was that originally released? Was it like an independent, just almost like an Evil Dead type film was? It was just a small...
kind of. It was for meant for like drive-ins and all that stuff. But what they screwed up on is they didn't put the copyright on it because at the last minute they changed the title, and the copyright was on the other title, and they forgot to put the copy. It is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but I guess that's how it worked.
So what does that mean? So it was in the public domain then?
Technically it is or was, but I guess now, depending on what scan you use, it might not be, because I guess the Library of Congress or whatever owns the negative now or something like that. I can't remember how it exactly works, but.
And hail to the Mandalorian, my buddy from Late Night Fortnite on Friday nights. How's it going? He says he's lurking. We're playing a card game. Thank you, Mandalorian. Great to see you.
Hey.
And Lisa's one of our Fortnite buddies too. We're always playing Fortnite on Friday night. And Lisa has her own icon on the channel here too.
I mean, there's like a weird thing with like It's a Wonderful Life too, where the movie itself is technically in the public domain, but the music is not.
Yeah, how does that work? So like Clobber Times I made a clip of him with the new Superman, public domain cartoon, and then he got a copyright claim on the music. Yeah, from the 40s one. Yep.
Fleischer cartoons. Yeah.
So I guess maybe the music is not in the public domain, or not sure how that works.
I guess not. Not only that, I guess the book too. There's a book or the card or whatever the story that it's based on is actually owned still. So like there's a loose, like weird way it works, but like, yeah. So for years they got away with showing it on television and stuff, but then NBC put the kibosh on that a while back, and Paramount did. So yeah.
Yep. Oh, and we got a super chat here for RNTNZ. Thank you. And he says, asking us, what are our thoughts on Q? Love, hate, indifferent to him. Clobber and Towns, what do you think?
I love Q. He is the Mr. and Mrs. Pitlick of Star Trek. Delancey's terrific as a character. He has some really fun episodes. Yeah, I mean, Anyone that irritates Picard's okay by me. So I enjoy him. I like him a lot. RR. That's for me. My answer anyway.
All right, that's a great answer. And Tom, are you a Q fan or Q hater?
I don't know.
Yeah, I've always liked him.
Yeah.
TNG is pretty good. Yeah. No, I've always thought he was cool.
Yeah. No, I love Q too. I think he's fantastic. And John Delancey is just
tall as fuck.
He
he is. Yeah, I've never met him.
I met him.
I passed him at a con once, and oh man, he's tall.
I got his autograph, and I also ran into him in the elevator.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice guy from what I hear.
Yeah, he's pretty nice.
I think a couple times they went to the well a little bit later series, and of course he came back infamously in P Hard season.
That doesn't count.
2. Doesn't count, but you just don't want to see him. He's such a great. Even the scenes I said where he's such a great actor. Even the garbage dialogue, he's still got such a great presence. But I really do like his character. And we got another super chat here from the super chats are rolling in tonight. Thank you, everyone. From Eric K. And it's just he says, Tom, I thought you told me you had every version of Night of the Stripping Dead.
The Stripping Dead, yes.
Yep, we have all of it. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Eric K. So we're gonna play some quotes for
Brain and brain. What is brain?
That was disturbingly not delicious.
That was in reference to my clam pizza. So that was to get back at me. Yep. So thank you, RRT and Z and Eric K for the super chats.
Yeah, another thing about the Q. He was it John Delancey was actually on an episode of the original Battlestar Galactica, and then remember that show he did with MacGyver called Legend.
I don't remember that one.
Dean Anderson didn't last long, but it was set in the early 19th century or something like that, whatever it was. Maybe in the Old West or something. It was an attempt to try to make sort of a Wild West type of show.
Okay.
It was called Legend or something. Legend or something to do with the Legend. It was him and MacGyver, him and Richard Dean Anderson.
Huh. Not to be confused with the Tom Cruise Legend movie. Yep.
No, I'm not sure the exact title. Some Legend in there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone will remember it.
Someone on the chat will help us out. Yep.
Could not be reached. Stop.
And hell could not be reached. Yep.
Thank you, RR.
Yeah, that is a great analogy. Mr. Mixerplick. Yep. And Wagner is saying, so if the movie's in public domain because of its age, wouldn't the music also be in public domain because it would be?
No, it's not because of its age. It's because of that's the thing. That's because it went into the public domain because of the company that owned it, Republic Pictures, went under and they failed to renew the copyright, I guess is what it was. But the music was a completely different story because both the music and the film, images and music fall under two completely different copyright time frames. It's a little more difficult and nuanced to get into, but yeah, it's just kind of a funky thing. It's like kind of the thing that Disney was like coming after people with Steamboat Willie, but they kind of backed off a little bit. But basically what they were nailing people on was the music, not the actual video. See, so like it's a gray area of. In the next few years, it's going to get interesting, especially like Clobby can maybe expand on this a little bit more, especially like when a lot of the comic book characters start to become public domain, or at least earlier versions of them, let's say. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, they're going to go after if you try to claim any of those. They're already screwing around with some of it. As far as, the rights and stuff. Marvel's getting tricky with Wolverine right now. That just came out where...
we're literally like
Roy Thomas, the Roy Thomas Wolverine controversy.
Yeah,
but I do know crazy. Like we're literally like less than a decade away from Superman, Batman, a couple others going public domain. Technically, there's a few already that should be like the original versions of.
They will find a way around that.
Oh yeah, and I mean I don't even know if anybody's even attempted yet because technically.
I think Flash Gordon's already almost there because he's.
I was going to say
90 years this year, 90 years for Flash.
Then that might have a few more years left. But it all depends. See, and then there's also the laws that they came up with in '76 that, where the original creator can reclaim ownership over their creation. Is that what's going on with Wolverine, or is it something else?
Well, they added Roy Thomas, who's an editor, and people were apoplectic over it because
what happened was it was okay.
Well, go no, Claudia, you go. You're the expert on this, so.
Well, just kind of popped out there. But I've been known it was being stirred up for years. But the other day, someone on Facebook or somewhere talked to Lynn Wein, the late Lynn Wein, who is basically credited along with John Romita Sr. as the creator of Wolverine and has been. His widow was since remarried, because he died about 6-7 years ago, whatever it was. Found out and got word that Marvel was about to start adding Roy Thomas credit. Roy Thomas is still with us now, to the creation of Wolverine. He was the editor at the time, but he's admitted in the past long ago that he came up with the name. There's been some dispute to that, but he came up with the name and the idea that he was from Canada, and that's about it. Now, that's not creating a character. But over the past few years, and I don't want to go too far into this kind of, I'm actually friendly with them, known for many years, a gentleman by the name of John Cimino, who has over the past 4 or 5 years been Roy's agent and Roy's handler, if you will. Because Roy's getting in his 80s, and he's been setting up all of Roy's, obviously all of his signings, all of his cons, all of his appearances, and everything. And he's been hyping him really big. He's been trying to push this for years. He's been just going on flat around, just running on saying it. Well, Lynn Wein's widow. Now, again, the Weins don't really get anything for it, but she doesn't like it, and she's kind of throwing up a stink about it right now. But they're not pushing back to do anything with it. They're not going to be able to do anything about it. They can't fight Marvel. Then it's just going to be. John has pushed this. I had John on the show about a year and a half ago, so I haven't talked to him about it much. And he knows I wouldn't agree with him anyway. But we get along. But yeah, he's pushing this narrative, because, in my opinion, he has got Marvel thinking that Roy's the new Stan, and I've been saying that for a while now. Stan Lee is a figurehead. Because of my research I've done for 40-something years on this, on the credit, all the credit issues, who created what, in my opinion, Stan Lee created very little and had very little to do with a lot of things, but he's told a lot of lies. That gets me in a lot of trouble, so I'm not going to mess up your channel by going any further into it, because it can get you in big trouble. I'm just saying that's my basic take on it. Not going to get into the argument any further. Someone in the chat doesn't like it. I'm not going to argue with them. Just saying that. And I believe John's been trying to set up Roy to be the next figurehead Marvel for Stan. The next Staner is trying to get as much as he can out of him. So now John doesn't agree with me. He thinks Roy did all this stuff, and Roy, hey, fine, but looks like Marvel's starting to buy into it.
And then what does John Romita think? Junior's obviously his dad. Has he commented yet or said anything? Or
I don't know. I haven't seen anything from him. Just Lynn Wein's widow.
Yeah, just broke down. Of course, it's an in the weeds kind of us comic book lovers.
You don't get money for it anyway.
Yeah, no, but it's a credit thing. I was, my dad was an inventor, so I always use the reference. When he was working at PerkinElmer, he had some inventions, and of course, the company owns your invention. It's similar to, and he wasn't arguing with that, but that's similar to what you're saying in terms of creator owned rights. It's just far, a patent or something that's sold by the company is far different. But he went to look at the patent, and his boss, they list all the creators, and his boss's name was on it. He said, Joe Schmo had nothing to do with that. This is bullshit, to quote my dad. And he said, you're taking, I don't know if he threatened to quit, but I think he was so well regarded in the company, he wasn't in the, in terms of his creativity and how smart he was and what he could get done. I I think they finally. He said, "Well, if he's on there, my name is first. Even though maybe it was alphabetically." He's like, and I think he almost threatened to quit at one point, and then he got so mad or so PO'd at one point. He said, "Well, I'm quitting," and then he started his own business and with his invention. But then they were begging him to come back. Oh no, Lucian, please come back, please come back. He's like, no, but he was that kind of guy. I wouldn't take any crap. So I could see if even if you don't get any money out of it, taking away your creation or something you invented, just
Well,
to that creator.
They always, it's they all, Tim was it when he was alive. Herb Trimp would always do cons and say he would kind of pass himself off as a Wolverine co-creator because he drew the first comic, technically speaking, and that was one thing. He really didn't get anything out of it other than the popularity of people getting to sign his comic, which day he drew it. So it's one thing. I don't know. Suggesting a name, if you name a character, that's one thing, but it's all you contribute was, hey, make him from Canada or whatever, which that is in dispute by some people, by the way. But that doesn't fall into what I would call co-creator credit for me. But that's just me, maybe.
That's just an editor being an editor, right? Kind of tweaking an idea a little bit. That's the editor's job, but doesn't mean you get to be a career. And my dad was around. I know what he would tell. No offense, Mr. Thomas. If he with his patent, he would have told him to F off, probably. And Roy Thomas was critical to Marvel too. I mean, he's one of the important people at Marvel. But you get into the weeds too. Like if you ask, the credits are rolling, and my wife saw, Roy Thomas's name. She wouldn't know who Roy Thomas is. Is that the guy from Wendy's? God bless Thomas, all. Yeah, but I mean, God bless all the. To us, it's important, and we know all these people as comic book, fans, but most people will never know. So that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, and in a sense, I understand where she's coming from, but it's not gonna, she can't really. I mean, I don't see where other than just because she cares about her husband's legacy, she's never gonna get any kind of money. Maybe she thinks she is. I don't think she does. In fact, I know she does.
Yeah.
Other than when he was alive, he could do cons and signings, things. The co-creator of Wolverine. And actually, I think there are a couple other guys that, I think Dave Cockrum had a lot to do with creative, and he got nothing.
Right, unfortunately. Yep. And Shooter says, by the way, ahoy, everybody. Happy Easter Sunday from a guy enjoying Easter Monday. Yeah, across the other side of the world. So amazing tech there. Yep. So hail to Shooter. Thank you for being here, and happy Easter Monday to Shooter. Yep. So, and the other thing that I don't know if, Tom, if you heard about, but the Fleischer cartoons, the Blu-ray, everyone was saying how horrendous that Blu-ray was. Do you know anything about the Superman Fleischer cartoon Blu-ray being a disaster? Or
that's a DNR mess, and it was all compressed. They only used like half of a single layer Blu-ray. It's just insane what was done with that. And the
it's
mess
that
went on
bad
behind the scenes. It looks better than any DVDs we've ever had, but it's again, it's a very unnatural looking film, and there's other issues with it too that they never addressed or fixed from the previous releases.
Yeah.
And this was a big, huge snafu, I guess, within Warner Brothers. And somebody may have even lost their job over it or something like that. Now, a rumor that I was told, I guess, and that's the best way I can say it, and I can't say who I necessarily heard it from, but let's just say again, somebody who was probably really well trusted within the community kind of hinted to me that at some point we may get a re-release on 4K that would be absent all these problems, hopefully.
Wow.
So, but I don't know about all the problems, but at least the DNR problem, at least. Because even Warner has put out some really amazing Blu-rays. Like this was a major malfunction. I don't know who screwed this up or how it got screwed up on so many levels, but it is just a mess. I mean, it looks good to most people. And I mean, yes, it's going to look better than most old versions, but they have scrubbed it and cleaned it up so much that it doesn't even retain the natural look of the original. Like, it looks like it's more modern animation because
which you don't want.
Yeah, they've DNR'd it so much. Like, it's just too clean, too clear, too almost scrubbing away some of the details and stuff. So yeah, which can be a problem with some of these.
Well, that's the AI again, right? I mean, I guess or these filters,
kind of a filter and AI. I don't exactly know. Like I said, I don't know. But then the other problem was it just was compressed down and put on a disc with no room to breathe. Like, yeah, it was like, what the hell are you thinking?
Squeezed it on. Yeah, because there's a lot of episodes. So was it 17 episodes?
Like 17, yeah. With various running links, but yeah.
Hail to Real Wade Nation Gaming, yeah.
Hey.
So, hey, buddy. Yeah, I was about to click buy, and then I started hearing some stuff about it, and it's only $18, but it's 18 hard-earned dollars.
No, I would not spend that much. Like, if you found it for like 10, 12, maybe.
Yeah.
Then, but yeah, that's because it's better than a lot of the bootleggy ones that are out there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
and you can find it on the interwebs, it's in public domain. I've always enjoyed watching it, but I was hoping for that to be, oh wow, we're gonna get a 4K version of this, see it like you would have gone to the movie theater, say back in the day. I'm guessing they would have shown this in movie theaters maybe on Saturday.
Yep, they were shown before they were shown before movies and stuff back in the day too. Like, they're part of the whole program. So it'd be shown, as far as my understanding, they'd be shown in front of like Paramount Pictures back in the day. If I'm not mistaken. Like all those animated shows were like Looney Tunes and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, back before we got commercials, we used to get cartoons and things before the movies. Yeah.
They have the newsreel, the cartoon, usually a short film.
Yeah. Oh, those were the days. Well, I remember watching.
I wasn't even old enough for that stuff, but yeah, I do know that's how they used to run. Because in fact, I can't remember the movie, but they actually have like a thing where you can watch the movie like it would be like you were going to see it in the theater the night it came out. It was an older movie, and it has like this whole presentation of like a newsreel, a short film, the cartoon, and then it gives you the movie, and then it starts the movie and everything. Yeah, it's really kind of neat.
Yeah, because I remember when I went to see The Living Daylights in Switzerland, I'm like, Dad, there's commercials in front of the movie. Yeah, we went to see the English version, obviously, which was, for me, my French is terrible. And plus, you never want to see something dubbed. But I remember, we're big Bond fans. Like, we're going to go see The Living Daylights. And that was my joke to my dad in the movie theater. I'm like, Dad, James Bond can run again. When he's running. Timothy Dalton's running the opening. So, I love Roger Moore, but he was way too old. But they had like a half-hour commercials before the movie. It's like, that's bullshit, Mark. They've always had too many commercials, but they would play. When he was a kid, they had the serials that they would play, before the movies. And I guess maybe in the 80s, or when did they stop doing the shorts? I remember Tracy Ullman had the Bart Simpson short. They played that as a short.
Well, that was just kind of a thing. Yeah, but like as far as like the theaters stopped doing it.
Yeah, when did that?
Late 40s, early 50s.
I was going to say about the time television became popular, because a lot of that kind of programming went to television, especially animation, because it was so much cheaper to produce for television than it was for film, because you had to, if you look at a great example is look at like the earlier Looney Tunes compared to like a lot of the later stuff that was actually made for television. You can tell because stuff that made for television is shot on the twos, and which means for those who don't know what that means, that's just instead of doing 24 frames per second, they would do 12 frames and just do 2 frames of each cell. Filler frames, basically. Yeah. And the backgrounds wouldn't have nearly as much detail, or any detail in some cases, compared to the original one. So like you could tell a big difference in the quality. But yeah, like anyway, you were about to say Clobby, but yeah, it was probably about the 50s. Stuff stopped. 60s at the latest.
Yeah. Somewhere up in there. No, I think like 50s.
But what did they used to show? We didn't have commercials before. Was it just all trailers before?
They'd have trailers. They'd have, like I said, they had the news. You'd have a newsreel.
No, but I'm trying to think of like when I went to see the movie in the 80s, right? What the? I don't
in the 80s?
Yeah, what it was just
it was just so trailers, mostly just trailers. Yeah. Once in a while, they would throw an animated film in front of it, but it was very rarely. Usually Disney would, but yeah.
When I was a kid, we got it for a while, but then they stopped with the cartoons. But there were some serials in the 50s. Leonard Nimoy was in one. He was in Zombies of the Stratosphere. So.
Yeah. And Shooter finished working on his car, so he did the engine. Now make sure to put oil back in the car. And I'm always recall the story from my dear departed buddy Rob, who his girlfriend in high school got her first car, and he told her, "Oh, make sure you check the oil. You know, it's got enough oil in it." And she kept filling the oil up until the oil came up out of the crankcase, and then she started the car and trashed the engine.
Oh no!
Oh no! Well, just to go back real quick on what we were just talking about, a good example of the stuff that they would show, besides cartoons, ended up like Disney would reuse that for their Wonderful World of Disney stuff on television.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Like a lot of the nature shorts and their other little things that they would do. Those are the kind of things they would show before a movie, because you get a varied, you get a whole bunch of different things. It wouldn't just be a cartoon and whatever. It'd be like I said, a short subject film, a docu-short, and some other things, a nature movie or whatever. Sometimes, just 10, 15 minutes long. But yeah.
Yeah, but you never did get those those horrible commercials, commercials and commercials.
No. It wasn't like infomercials, or it wasn't a bunch of like commercials for a bunch of crap that had nothing to do with movies.
Yeah.
And trailers actually used to show after the feature. That's why they were called trailers, because they would trail after the movie, and then that would loop it around to, because that's what they used to do.
Or you'd watch. Then the next movie would come on if you watch.
And then it would just they would just rerun everything throughout the day. Like literally was like on a schedule. Like you'd have, the movie, the trailers, the short features, all that stuff, and then they would just keep re-showing it all day long, and people just come and go. And that was basically television for a lot of people, even up through. That's why I said I think pretty sure
news, right?
In the 60s and stuff. Yeah, because television wasn't mainstream until like the 60s.
Yeah, because that's a good point. Yeah, trailers. This should be the first. What you call it? What you'd call it? But yeah, the trailer means after, right? Yeah.
But since those were the only things that stuck around, they just started sticking them in front of movies, and that was it. We'd just come in and we'd have 20 minutes of trailers, and movie would start.
And hail to Your Old Toys, who's a youngin', I would say, who collects old Star Wars toys that are much older than him. So check out Your Old Toys channel. Go sub.
Yeah, I take that back, because like when I was a kid, I remember only like 5 minutes of trailers. Like it would.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Yeah, you get 2 or 3 trailers, right?
Trailers weren't usually didn't give you the whole damn movie away, like they.
Well, now you go to the theater and literally it's like 10 freaking trailers, and then a commercial, and then another trailer, and a commercial, and a commercial, and then a trailer, and then welcome to our theater. We're so glad you chose it. And then now is the feature, and it's like now is the preacher feature after the feature. It's like, how many of these things are we going to get before the movie? Just start the goddamn movie. Like
our 450 feature, they started about like 5:20.
I know, right?
Ridiculous.
And then some of the movies, one of our, I think AMC tried it for a while. They were posting when the movie started, not the 7 o'clock. It would be like 7:20 movie.
I'm surprised they did that, because somebody tried to sue. I don't know if you guys remember hearing about this, and they lost. Like, so theaters don't have to do that. Some do, I guess, but or if you call, will tell you like, yeah, there's 27 minutes of trailers before the movie.
Yeah.
But like technically, yeah, they don't have to tell you shit. And they don't have to post anything. The time that they post, they consider that the start of the feature, and the feature includes trailers and all that other business. Yeah.
So now what I do, I always go 10 minutes later. You
gotta be careful with that.
It's only burned me once.
You do have
normally
to be careful.
There's 25 minutes of, but I don't go. I try to be there 5 after, 10 after.
If it's a longer movie, they don't show as many trailers because they're trying to.
It depends on if it's a special event, like. When I went into like Godzilla and the Planet of the Apes thing, where they showed all 3 movies, there was like no other trailers. It was just it was. Like,
those, yeah.
Like Godzilla, I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh shit, they're just starting the movie. Like,
wow.
So I was actually kind of gallivanting around a little bit, and I'm like, the movie had already started by the time I got in there. I was like, oh shit, like that's Godzilla's roar. I'm like, oh fuck.
Of course, your seats are reserved these days, which is great.
Yeah, so you're not in a rush you used to be. And the last time I got, I'm grown accustomed to that. You just got to get quick enough to get, to buy them, because I told this horror story before, but one of the last experiences I had with just, come as you are theaters, which there is, I think, only one left where nearby me, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And what happened was, this was a bunch of horse shit. We're supposed to go see the 3D version of it wasn't the last Jurassic Park, but it was the one before it. So it was the crappy one. The one in the
one where the girl gets eaten by the cute girl gets eaten by the big alligator.
No,
no, the after one, the one after that.
Okay.
The one in between the two. Either way, it doesn't matter. The point was,
yeah.
It was supposed to be a 3D movie, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, they never told us to put our 3D glasses on. I'm like, well, this is kind of friggin' weird. And it's a packed house, right? And we got great seats and everything. So because we got there early at the time, my girlfriend was real stickler for that. So we got there. And they started all of a sudden the 20th Century Fox logo starts. It's not in 3D or nothing. I'm like, okay, I'm like, what's going on here? Like,
What's
this
happening?
This is not Jurassic Park. And all of a sudden I realized it's Deadpool 2. And I look down where there's like a whole section of kids and their parents, and I'm going, oh shit.
What?
Danger will
If you remember the beginning of fucking Deadpool 2, it starts out pretty hard. I'm like, oh, those poor kids and those parents.
International Women's Day.
And and he did, like, the one dad at the very corner grabbed his 2 kids and exited as fast as he could. And a couple of the other parents started looking confused and shit. I'm like, oh,
what happened?
Well, they started the wrong movie. Well, so all of a sudden it quit.
Wow.
It quit, and somebody come in and they go, okay, we're going to have you move over to this auditorium where they were going to be showing Deadpool 2, and we're going to move those guys over here. So we both swapped theaters.
Oh, my God.
And we're sitting there for about 5 minutes in the movie, waiting for the movie to start. And they're like, okay, change of plans. We're going to actually have everybody switch back now.
Oh, my God.
And we already got crappier seats than last time, so it was already pissy. And then so trying to get back into the, like, everybody's rushing to try and get to bed, so like we fucking lost all the good. So I'm like, fuck this. I got pissed. And I said that exactly to the theater owner. I'm like, look, we got here early. We had decent seats. I said, now we had to move twice because of your fucking screw up. And now we don't have any decent seats. And I am not sitting in the goddamn nosebleed section. I am pissed. I said, I don't even want to see the movie now. Right? Because the next showing was like 2 hours away or whatever. I'm not waiting for it. I said, I already drove an hour to see it. I'm pissed. I'm like, you guys have screwed my night up. I just want to go home. My girlfriend's got to work in the morning, so we can't stay for a later show anyway. So they gave us our ticket money back, or our money back, plus a free set of free tickets, which I'm glad.
They did give you extra tickks.
Yes, because like I said, if I would have paid for that movie, I'd have been pissed because we went and seen it like the next day or two after that.
Man.
And it was the worst Jurassic Park movie ever. Like, that's where I'll never bitch about Jurassic Park 3 ever again after I walked out of that movie. I'm like, that was wretched. How can you set a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie, mind you, not even Jurassic Park, in a mansion? Like, what the hell is this?
Oh my God, yeah.
Dumbest movie
I've never seen that one.
But yeah, so I was so pissed about that. I was like, are you kidding me right now? So you know what? I'll never gripe about assigned seating after that, because I did gripe about it before then. So I was like, that's bullshit. It should be first come, first serve, get to theater early. I used to be early theater goer. I get there early.
That was me.
Get my, but now I'm to that point where, like, yeah, after that experience and just being somebody who's had to drive now, so far, so long to go to movies.
You're a long way from the theater, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So like, it's just gotten to a point where I'm just like, you know what? I actually kind of embrace this a little bit.
And good night to GJ Play Nice. He says, rock the new week, y'all.
Which the point of that is I can be like you and just kind of dawdle in a little later.
Plus, there's no one in the theaters anymore. And I always go to the Nobley Theater now with the reclining seats because I'm a movie snob, and it costs me $20
exactly
to go to the matinee. But
and I'll even buy seats around me now just so I don't have nobody sitting next to me unless somebody's going
buy
with
the
me.
extra seats.
Like, fuck it, I don't care. $30-$40, whatever. I'm going to spend that much anyway. So.
Yeah, like when we sat down, and of course, when the theater's empty, it's like, don't come in my row. Don't come in my row. And I always sit close, like, stay out of my row. And like, especially in the winter, you got your jackets and coats next to you. You're like,
well, the beauty of that is if the movie's not selling out so well, then if you catch it you get in there at least a half hour early, and you can see that the seats aren't selling, then you can just get refunded. But yeah, I've done that a couple times now where I'll just get, 2 children's seats next to me, just so or one if it's like especially if it's the 2 recliners together. I hate the idea of somebody
sharing the recliners. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Is like, it's kind of like, I don't know why they didn't make like more of a gap. I guess I know why, to save space, but they should have had like a little gap between those recliners, so it's more like your own. Because even though they're separate, you're sharing the armrest. You should have kind of sharing an armrest.
Yeah.
It's like in that middle one, the left one.
We have a theater that has it like that, where you don't have to share with. They're great.
Yeah. But Putin's got the movies are on they're all, I think, almost
they're
all
not
the
on
movies
discs, they're on hard drives, and they actually get sent
hard drive.
More of them, and they get sent through like an internet Ethernet kind of thing or whatever.
Yeah, with security and protection.
Because they don't even come on hard drives half the time anymore. They used to, but they'll download them and then they have to transfer them to the camera. So I actually talked to a lady about this once because she was griping because Disney, because I'm trying to remember, Black Panther was out and some other Disney movie was out at that time. I think it was Cars 3 or whatever the fuck it was, or Wreck-It Ralph 2, one of those. And there was some other movie that was, because Black Panther had been out for a while, and that's what I think we went to see in 3D, and there was like nobody else in the theater. But she was griping because something else had come out and it was actually getting people to go, but she couldn't put it in the big theater. And she was upset because it's this little video store place that had like this theater built into it. It was really cool. So you had like 2 screens upstairs and the big screen, or no, 1 big screen upstairs and then like 2 or 3 little screens downstairs. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3. And she was upset because of the whole thing. And I wish I could remember what movie it was that was out at that time that was doing really well. And she was pissed because she couldn't move it in the big theater. And the whole reason was she had to keep Black Panther and Wreck-It Ralph in the 2 biggest theaters she had because of the stipulation with Disney. And not only that, it takes forever to move these movies around, she said too. And that's the stupid part.
So
like, between the projectors, or it takes hours or something, or it's not
literally hours, like twice as long as the movie sometimes, she said. Yeah.
To transfer it.
Really?
Wow. God, that's interesting stuff.
This was a couple of years ago. Now I seen a video
now.
recently that where they were going over the same kind of stuff. And it sounds like a lot of these theaters have found ways to streamline some of this, but yeah.
Well, I went to see the new Indiana Jones movie. This has happened before where it has none, but the prequel, the trailers crashed, or the whole setup. Then it's a Windows computer that's up on your screen. You can see it on the theater, like Windows. I took some pictures of it too. Like,
a lot of them run off Linux and stuff too, but yeah.
This was a Windows, and they were laughing and they're like, sorry, no trailers. Like, we don't care, but I'd left work to go to see it at like 2:00, so it could be on streams, for reviews and stuff. And of course, you do get the matinee price at least. And like, this movie better fucking play right now. It's like, then of course it ended up being a horrible movie. But I'm like, especially if you drive an hour, but you take time off from work. I got to drive 20 minutes, so it's ends up being about a half hour by the time you get your fat butt in the seat.
Yeah.
People said that with digital cinemas, everything was supposed to get better and all that shit. I was thinking back, I have had more issues seeing movies because I can literally remember like the 3 times that I've ever seen a movie on film where it's screwed up. Yeah, and I can't even remember. I've lost count of the times now since digital cinemas where it's supposed to be 3D and the 3D wasn't working.
Yeah,
or like my Deadpool story and they put the wrong movie, or it'll freeze or something else happen, and it's like all because of digital. Or we can't see something, it's all out of focus, and it's like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, they don't care. The Dolby, I have to say, the theater, they've really paid attention.
Some are a little better than others.
They do have some screw ups there. Of course, the one time the film broke, I was watching Pierce. Was it Pierce Brosnan, James Bond? What's the movie that he jumps the motorcycle between the buildings? He jumps a BMW. Was that Brosnan or was that Dalton?
It was Brosnan.
That was Brosnan. That was Brosnan, right?
He's the one that had the BMW. I know that much.
The BMW, right? Yeah. I'm forgetting which Bond movie it is, but
Tomorrow Never Dies.
The film starts to melt and go, when you hear it, back, and then someone's like, well, can you rewind it? I'm like, no, they can't rewind the film once it's broken.
Right.
Like that. They can start like, a few minutes in, and then they got the movie starting, and like other people ran out to go see because it was an opening night, so it was playing like, the other multiplex, like a half hour, you had to watch again.
A whole other.
Ran out to another theater, before the manager came in, just, then the one that started at, a different time, but if it, started later, it would be okay. So, and then they gave us free tickets. I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to come, there's 20 minutes left of the movie. I got to come back and finish this movie. Like we have a babysitter for tonight. We went out to dinner. Like, aren't you going to give us, 4 movie tickets at least? I mean, I'm going to come back and get. I mean, it's not a free movie. I want to see. I want to get. So I think I finally talked to Matt. I complained, and he gave me 4 free tickets. And I never finished seeing the movie until it came out on. So I used those other tickets. What are you going to go see? A effing 15 minutes left in the movie, and it was just so funny. People like in the theater yelling like, "Rewind it, rewind it."
No, that's the upside. They can technically do that now with digital. That's the upside of that. But literally, like I said, I can remember like the 3 times, and it was 101 Dalmatians when I was a kid. The film burnt up, and it was like, like you said, like a few minutes later we come back in. It was like maybe 2 minutes after where it burnt up, or wherever the next reel started, and they got it fired up. And I'm trying to remember the other one, but it was a similar thing then, but it was that many years ago. But then the third one had been, this was just before they started switching over. So this was one of the last movies I probably saw in film, and it was The Green Mile. And this was weird because it wasn't the film burning up. What happened was the Dolby Digital or the DTS, whatever the theater was in, kicked out the center speaker. Like whatever happened, it totally
blew out.
like, I don't know what happened, but like all of a sudden,
something happened.
Because people are like, "Oh, the sound's not working." I'm like, no, the surround's still working. I can hear the surround, but I can't hear the voice. And I said, so that means the center channel's out or something's up. And so I went and said something to him because like all of a sudden you could hear like the music swelling in the background and all that kind of stuff, but you couldn't hear it. And you could hear the echo of the voices, but you couldn't hear the voices. And luckily at that time, my girlfriend had read the books of The Green Mile. And this all was happening during the scene where John Coffey grabs his dick. So like everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? Like they have no idea. So my girlfriend she's like, okay, so what's going on here is he's got a urinary tract infection. And John Coffey's like, I can fix it for you. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, she's just going through the whole thing. So it went from her just telling me to all of a sudden there was like the other 10 people that were in the theater, like hovered around us listening to her tell us what's going on. It's hilarious. Then the movie stops. They shut everything down and they got it finally working again. But at that point, at least the upside was, it was, the sound was on, I'm sure it was on a disc at that point, if it was DTS especially, but, yeah, something had happened with the center channel and just kicked out, but
did they get it working again or?
Yeah, they kicked it back on and it was all working again. But like, I think they had to go to the next reel or something like that. But
yeah,
like that's the thing back then. There were so many fail safes. Like if the soundtrack would even go wrong. So I wonder if it wasn't, I don't know what the problem was, but yeah, they got it working again. So it took them a little while, but yeah.
Well, Poon's Cat saying you can rewind the film. The film I used to do projection, but my understanding was you could, or it could be pretty difficult. Yeah, he says
if it burns, you're fucked. That thing snapped from the other side. Like
it melted through.
You got to go splice it, and that can take a little while. You're not going to have the time to splice it to get it in there. They'll just go to the next reel if they're lucky enough.
Yeah. So the projectors would have reels, like an automatic, system, where you'd have different because the movie would have
on the theater, but
and like or an IMAX now, of course, Oppenheimer is famous with that huge, massive negative. So I think what was the movie? It was like 500 pounds the movie, or
that's just it. Certain theaters, depending on the projector, they would literally splice everything together. So all like 6 reels of the movie plus whatever trailers and everything would all be spliced together. That's kind of the way IMAX works. Then other theaters, I think they would actually have 2 projectors or a projector that had 2 reels on it, how it was set up.
And then
you literally have to flip it around each reel. And that's the older ones, but I can't remember exactly how they work. It's been a while since I've messed or seen any of this kind of stuff. Yeah, but like I had a buddy who used to work at the theater, and even back then, even though it was still on film, they had the plates kind of like what IMAX has, and literally just this big ass plate, right? And you got the whole 35 millimeter film and all the trailers all wound up on this plate, and then it's strung up all through the room to the projector, and then it spits back out to this other plate on the other side. And then when that's done, they have to literally rewind all that shit again. So like that's why they would have, it used to be like almost an hour sometimes between movies. Now they can digital, you can just,
it's digital, right? Yeah,
minutes, right? But like as long as they're showing the same movie. But like so like they'd have to literally rewind all that shit again, and it was just a pain in the ass. But like I know the certain other ones used to have to switch reels, because the one guy was the one who was there, he was telling us about the whole system. He's like, you just set it up on here and you hit these buttons and it's all automatic, and then the sound comes through there on the disc, and then it syncs up with the thing, and if that fails, there's a digital soundtrack on the film, and if that fails, there's an analog soundtrack on that side.
Wow.
So like if you'll never even notice, it seamlessly bounces around if it has to, but we rarely have the DTS fail. At first they used to all the time, I guess. The DTS would just constantly fail out. So most of the time when you go see a movie, you would think you're seeing it in DTS, and 9 times out of 10 it would kick in the simple stereo track because the DTS matrix would screw up or something. But yeah.
Well, that's
there's like all these little markers on the thing that, and you would have like a little marker to where you line it up, and then it would also line up with the audio to where it would and then I would kick in the audio, and the audio would know where it's at. So like as soon as you hit the button, it's like a train. You're not stopping it, right? Like it's down those tracks.
Well, how do you know when? How do you know when to switch the platter? I mean, is it automatic switching the platters? Like
well, if they're on a big platter like that, that means they took all the reels, like all 6 reels, and they're all
put them together.
See, so like, and that's what I'm saying. So at that point, then they got to rewind it all back to that original platter, and that takes a while. So now, like, if they have to switch reels, it's been years since I've seen one of those methods. I think it's like because you have like the 2 things, and you let it literally come in and rule up the other reel as the other one's going in, and then you got to wait for the little marker. Like that's where you used to see the little cigarette burn in the screen. That was like your little marker till it's like X amount of frames until. So when like if you're going through the film, then you're like, okay, there's my reel ending, and then they know to splice it together, or that's where it's coming in, and it's like boom, it's like, and it's
you had to have some skill to be a theater or projector.
They used to have guys that's what their job. Like, I mean, there's only like a couple of guys now that know this stuff anymore. It's really a limited, a lot, like because they used to have the camera projectionist guys who would they handled all that stuff in the theaters, and you'd have one for each theater sometimes, and then they got the automatic system, so then it was down to like 1 or 2 guys that would handle it. Now that it's all digital, it's all literally handled by the guy in the office.
They
got a server, and then they just send all the movies out to the cameras, and then or not the cameras, the projectors, I mean.
Back in the 80s, a buddy of mine ran a theater. He was a manager of the theater. He used to let me go up and sit with him in the booth all the time. And it was not a fun job for him up there when he had booth duty,
Yeah, and I think, like I said, it all depends on your setup. I think some of them used to be they literally had 2 projectors set up to where like when the reel change would come over, and you literally switch over to the other projector, and that's where, like I said, they'd watch for that little cigarette burn, and they know exactly when they see that cigarette burn. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2, switch.
And Pooh and Scott saying we didn't rewind. You weren't. Oh, so you weren't kind, Pooh and Scott. You didn't rewind.
You pulled from
the center. Oh my God, that sounds dangerous. But my dad actually came to the USA to work as a camera repair person, engineer on Bolsey cameras. So let me share the screen here. But and the first thing he worked on was the movie projector cameras. Actually. So he's got a whole report on it. Let's see if I find. I have one of these, the 16 millimeter. Well, it was his, but
nice,
Rex. Yeah, I have a bunch. He was a camera collector. Oh, actually, this one I have. I have this one right here. I keep on my desk. I love this.
I had a little Super 8 that my dad had when I was a kid, but I didn't really know how to use it, so I screwed it up. But
here's the.
Oh, that's tiny. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's a later one then, yeah. Because the one my dad had was probably 4 or 5 times the size of that. It was big.
Yeah, so that was a wind up camera, and so that's this camera here.
It's the same principle. Yeah, it was a wind up one, but like it was
sub miniature and Palyard bowl. Except I want to see if I do a projector. Let's see, projector, just for fun. But and actually, I remember as a kid. I got hired by the library. I got paid, I think, at 50 cents an hour or $1 an hour to actually run the movies. Like they'd have, like family movies or movies of the week, and run the movies and thread the projector back in the day before VHS tapes. At the library. Yeah. So here's like one of the old, old school. Yeah, I think I do have this projector. My dad had that. But he would work, and as an engineer, you'd work on this stuff. It was all precision, and the quality controls. Of course, as a Swiss company, was pretty immense. But these are all very extremely mechanical things. You had to know, had to know how to load it. And then one of our friends, she's like, She's like, I have some old home movies. I want to view them. Can I borrow your projector? It was almost like, actually, no, you can't borrow our projector because if you fuck it up, I can't, how am I going to fix it or get another one? Or, I'm like,
There's a lot of places that'll still do the transfers, though.
Yeah. I'm like, do the transfer. My brother-in-law actually has a company, Retro Media, doing the transfers. I'm like, here's his card if you want to transfer it.
There you go.
But yeah, this camera stuff is it's fascinating. Yeah, I wonder what year this camera is. Yeah,
I would say that's got to be. That actually looks more like a. When did you first start playing with
probably
it?
the 60s. Well, I mean, I was playing it as a. This is. I'm guessing my dad got this in the. It's probably from the 60s.
I was going to say more the 70s, but okay, maybe
it could be. Well,
that means the one my dad had might have been even older than I thought. Maybe.
Yeah. So
his was a chunkier one, like that one there on the left. There you go.
Oh yeah, that one. Oh yep.
It's bigger than that, maybe even, but it was a lot like that. It's the crank thing, like you were saying, and it didn't have the protruding lenses. It just looked like a box like that. Yeah.
Yep. So I wonder.
And it was in a nice case, and it had all the leather on the outside, the hard leather.
Yeah, no, none of these things were cheap. I mean, they had high quality control, and
I had no idea what it was. I fucked it up though. I was such an idiot.
The kid.
My dad also had a multi-track cassette recorder. I didn't realize what the hell it was. I fucked that up too. Kids are so stupid.
Yeah, we screwed things up. You know what I would do?
My kid wonders why I won't let him have shit of mine. Like what you just said about the borrowing the projector to a friend. It's like my kid's like, well, you're not using one. Why you want to? Because I don't want you fucking it up. That's why.
I'm Googling something Putin's cat suggesting, so this should be safe. I hope I got safe shit, John. Just kidding, Putin's cat.
There you go. So that's what we're talking about there. Yeah.
Here's the platter system. Oh, thank you.
And that one actually goes. Those are nicer ones because those means that it actually spins back around to the other platter, but you still got to rewind them. At least it's not strung throughout the whole room that way.
Wow, look at that. Yeah. All the work that it took to show a movie. Yeah, I mean,
the one I saw that they had the one platter over on the one side, and it would string up through these like things to the camera, I keep calling it a camera, to the projector. Yeah, it would go through the projector, do its whole thing, and then it would spit out the other side. And then on the other side of the projector was the other palette that it would go on to, like that one there you got on the far left there. Yeah, but like, yeah, it was a quite the contraption they had there.
And he's saying pull on center. You're saying pull on center. Yep. Yeah, it's just
yeah, you don't want that happening there.
God, yeah, my God, yeah. And the film's not cheap either, right? I mean, when you trash,
hell no.
Like if you trash a movie,
no. That's the thing. That's what pissed theaters off, and that's why I was glad that the studios came around to like, yeah, we're gonna have to help them transfer over to digital because it benefited the studios more than it did the theaters anyway. Because the theaters had spent and invested all this money in these in these projector systems and sound systems and stuff for these projectors. And unless you had like a digital DTS system, like to upgrade to a digital projector was crazy for you. You're like, I just spent all this money for years, maintaining this other stuff, and you expect me to switch over now? Screw you. And I mean, because the studios to get a reel out there, I know it's in the double-digit $1,000, at least depending on which era you're talking about. But yeah, so
yeah, no, it's not a trivial matter. Plus,
that's per reel or per movie. I mean, with all the reels, it's not cheap.
And it's a big deal too if the movie goes bad, right? Or
they do X amount of prints. I mean, you got to think about it. Back then, even though we got like twice or three times as many theaters as we did in the days of when it was all film, even then they still had, close to 2,000 or so theaters they had to fill up, unless it was a movie that was only being released regionally. And that's why they did a lot of that stuff, because it was a smaller picture. Then they would only run like 3-4 prints, and they'd literally take it like region to region. Is that Halloween right there? Because I think I see Mustafa Akkad Presents. I was just going to say there's a good example of one, because they literally only had like 2 prints of Halloween.
Wow.
And so they would go from city to city to city. So a lot of people didn't see Halloween until like sometime within 79. But yeah, it started in, I believe, Indiana or something like that. They started on the week before Halloween, and then they just kept moving along to bigger city, and it just kept making more money. And then they did some more prints, and then they did some more prints, and then more prints, and when they had the money to print them. But you're like, $20,000 or $30,000 per print, depending, like I said, on the era. Like that's a lot of money to spend, you know.
God, yeah. No, and then of course you damage the film sometimes, the projection, emulsion marks. Yep.
Oh yeah, and God forbid something like that happens, because
yeah, and that's where you see that grain or what was
scratches and stuff.
Scratches and stuff. Sometimes they put that in, put that in on purpose too, to make it. What was the Robert Rodriguez film or what was
Grindhouse? Yeah, to emulate that.
Yeah, they put that in there. Yeah. So there's it's a lot of work back in the day, and now digital. Yeah, like you said, it's technically easier. Doesn't mean you can't screw it up.
Oh no, and that's what I'm saying. Like film just seemed like it was like they had it down pretty good science by the 90s as far as projectors go. Like I miss going to see a movie in 35 millimeter.
And the noise too, you hear that noise, right? I mean, yeah. Was nice.
If you're in certain theaters, definitely, but either way, there was a glow about it. There was a way the picture looked compared to digital. Digital just looks dull, feels too sterile, kind of lifeless. I don't know. I mean, and I'm not even saying you necessarily have to project movies in film. It'd be nice, but even if they shot them on film anymore, I think they'd still feel better. But we've come to this point where it's like, it's just there's not very many movies nowadays that I really can say, oh, that looks great. Oppenheimer, but that was shot on film. So there you go.
Yep, right. Yep. And so Boone's Cats, I see him pulling out the centerpiece.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. That was back a minute. I'm not sure, but
right there in that picture, right below the one you're on now.
Oh, below so they're pulling. Oh, okay. So then they don't have to rewind it. Yep. It saves time and labor, right? Yep. Wes Cagle says, going through all my dad's stuff last summer when he passed, I found a camera projector and screen with home movies from before I was born, pre-1969. Not sure if they had Super 8 back then. They had Super 8 back then, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So they would have had that. Yep. It's not a plug for
Super 8 was one of the most common cameras that most people had back in the day before video.
And there's a plug for my brother-in-law's let's see, Rhode Island. If I do Rhode Island,
because Super 8 was pretty cheap from what I remember.
So here's my brother-in-law's place, Retro Media. So shameless plug, or not so shameless. Cool. Family. Let me show the.
Is there anything they've worked on that was like famous, or just mostly?
Well, he did a lot of conversion. Private stuff. He has done some stuff for, I think, sports teams like the Red Sox and up in the area, like converting old things. And he does TV commercials as well. So he's a videographer, and then this is his other.
Well, I've been kind of wanting to get somebody on to talk about the whole process of taking film to digital and stuff. So I was just curious.
Well, yeah, if you ever, I'm sure he'd like to talk about that, but it's just, and he's not going to nail me for copyright because it's my brother-in-law. But how do I get this full screen? Yeah, so that's one of the guys there talking about how they convert. And so the thing is, they have to have all this old equipment. And what people don't realize, so they were converting a lot of stuff for TV stations too, I think. What people don't realize is like they'll bring in stacks of VHS tapes or, their movies. Like we have to play them. Well, VHS, you have to play 1-to-1. Film, now they have actually film scanners where they can actually run it through the machine faster. But in the old days, when he converted all our movies, you had to convert it at real time or real speed. So now with a VHS tape, it's like we have to play a 2-hour tape, but you have to play a 2-hour takes 2 hours. So like if you have 20 hours of stuff, you're not looking at it, 100 all the time. But if something goes wrong or something glitches, then you got to fix it, or then it can be a screw up, and you got to figure out what's happening there. So they can convert. Yeah, that's his parents' wedding, Grammy and Grampy's wedding. Just some of the old videos. I mean, like, of course, me being a toy guy, I got some of the old videos. It's like, that's when I got that Star Wars toy, right? It was in the Christmas movie, because Dad would always film. You weren't allowed to open your Christmas presents till Dad got his film, and of course, then he would, film you opening your presents. But it's so cool as a toy guy, I could see when I got certain stuff. And your film is not going to last forever, unfortunately. And a big battle he had too was telling people you want it digitally. Like, he'd want to give people, thumb drives, and like, but we want it on DVD. Like, no, especially the DVDs that you are writable. I mean, it's fine to have a copy of that, but they're not archive. I think the life on those is 30 years or 50 years, or
if you're lucky.
If you're lucky on those writables,
on the burnable ones, the
burnables, yeah. And so you always want to have a backup. But this stuff is, you just don't want to have, like, if you have the DVD, you also want it on a thumb drive. You're saying
that's kind of the problem where we're at right now. Is like, even some of this digital stuff is almost as fragile as the original, because we're just a couple of years away sometimes from something being unreadable again, or if it's not backed up properly and something changes in the system and you're screwed up. And they're starting to realize this from Hollywood. And the big mistake they made with a lot of these TV shows and stuff, even back in the day, they were pretty frivolous with what they did with a lot of this stuff. When they went and digitized some of these things back in the day in the really inferior versions, way back when we first started getting into this stuff, they went and tossed away a lot of the masters on some of these things to save space and other things. And it's like, are you...
how stupid were you? Yeah,
how stupid can you be, right? I mean, but here we are.
Oh, but hey, well, I just want to say, shooter, 24 to 30. I'm not sure what they can do now with the film. They can goes through like a whatever the format is, or the frames per second. They can scan the film. They're scanning each frame with a digital scanner versus running the film and playing the film and recording it the digital, just as a continuous stream. So it can, but now they're actually scanning the machine. If you watch the machine, it's like a $10,000 machine. I've seen it work, and it goes like, so it's moving.
Scanner?
Yeah, it moves each piece of film, each frame. And they're gonna pop Courtney in.
Do they have a Wetgate scanner, or is it just a standard scanner?
I can't remember the brand name, but it's like it's a cut.
Well, it's not a brand. What Wetgate means is what you'd have to ask him. What the Wetgate is, if you have a film that's in real rough shape, it passes through the same solution that is.
Oh, I see what you're saying, for the
film is made out, and so it actually is. They call it Wetgate because it's actually wet as it goes through the gate.
Lubricates the film as it goes through.
Yeah, and so what it does is fill in a lot of the cracks and the scratches and stuff.
I'm not sure if they use that, but the last machine he got was like 10 grand. It's like one guy that makes this specialized machine. They're more keyed in towards, the home movies.
Right. But that's, I was just curious, because I would love to pick their brain about it, because I would love to get to know the process a little bit more and understand, especially because when I talk about like the things we were talking about before with DNR and stuff, like I said, we overuse that term. There's other things that are going on here that I think need to be addressed, and I want to know the proper terms and the proper processes and all that kind of stuff that are going on, because it's been years since I've been a part of any of this kind of stuff. Like when I was in school, they were just transitioning to digital, which pissed me off, because like the teachers are like, by the way, in like a few years from now, none of this stuff is going to be relevant anymore. It's all going to be digital. I'm like, why the hell aren't we learning more on digital then? Like,
what are we teaching us?
Like, what the hell are you teaching us this shit for? Like, I can do this in my basement now. Like, what the?
And Courtney popped. Sorry, Courtney. I was just going to pop in. I just,
hey, Retro Nerd Girl's here. Hey, Retro
Nerd Girl.
I should have left like a half hour ago, but
you were supposed to.
No, it's just a fun convo, and I mean,
thank you, Tom.
Well, you guys didn't do your normal show this week.
No, and I was gonna take most of the day off, and then I ended up on Valiant stream.
No, I got you. Tom. You have a streaming problem.
I do have a streaming problem.
Hail to Courtney.
Hi. I don't know what happened. I think I hit the wrong button and kicked myself out a minute ago.
Courtney left. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I didn't leave like on purpose. I wasn't like, screw these guys. That sounded really complicated what you were talking about, that machine. That was very interesting.
Yeah, but it does take a picture of every frame. It takes a picture of the new converting unit that they got, and it's he was showing it to me like where you could buy it because they had an extra one, and it's like a custom. It's like what it does. It's actually this machine that they use. It's actually hooks up to a DSLR, and it uses the DSLR trigger to take a picture of the film negative every time it goes through the platen, because the DSLRs are so fast now, and it uses that trigger, so it's like when you hear it going. But it's much better. It's all digital. When he did my transfers, it was the old school machine where actually they just projected the film on a screen and took a picture of a picture, which is the most primitive. And then they had another machine, I think, that would just not take. It would just scan continuously. It wouldn't it would project into like it's not on the wall, but it's like in a small box there, so it's analog. So now it goes digital, but it's something you should all, there's a bunch of companies out there that do it too, but especially if you get a bunch of your your movies done, and you don't want to lose that stuff, right? So let me put this in the chat so you can tell them Mark sent you if you're in this area. Another thing he does a lot of like there's Legacy Box out there, which is very famous. But he said a lot of people don't want to put their old movies in the mail, so they'll they have the you can drop them off, or if you're in that area. So they have a lot of customers in that.
I don't blame them. I don't.
In that area. So they
have to deal with. I'm sure they have to deal with baking tapes and stuff too.
Yeah.
I lost like all my home movies in a fire, and I would do anything to have had them backed up. Like all childhood memories and stuff like that. It's something like this is pretty neat.
Yeah, so they're converting.
That's frame by frame. Yeah,
I think that's the frame by frame one. Yep.
What?
Hi, Tom. Hi, Cobby. Sorry, I was rude. I didn't mean to say hi.
I said hey when you came in, but yeah.
I didn't say it back. Sorry.
It's all right. Is it a 4K scanner or is it just a regular 1080p?
I think it's they'll scan depending on what the customer wants, but I'm pretty sure it's 4K with their camera that they use. They probably would charge more for the 4K, maybe.
Right, because it takes a lot more room to store and all that stuff.
The space and the speed and stuff. But most of the stuff is if you're just doing SD. But the beauty is like slides. I did my dad's old slide collection. My God, they're so sharp. And I had an old machine that was an Epson scanner, which was a great slide scanner. And you could load 50 up at a time. The thing broke, but I eventually went through like 2,000 of my dad's slides. So slides were actually much more much higher resolution. The slide film.
Well, yeah, because you're only doing one frame as opposed to 24
a
second.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful work. And then and I think my dad is a photographer, and a lot of photographers did slides back then versus regular.
So it probably has capability to go quite higher than that. Actually, I bet.
Yeah, but
maybe up to 16K. It all depends on how new it is.
But if you're doing like a 16 millimeter, 8 millimeter film, like Courtney's saying, you really wouldn't care about what the you just want the damn thing, right? Preserved.
But even 8 millimeter still has better than HD 1080p quality on it. See, that's the thing I don't think most people understand is how high a quality film really is.
Yeah, film is high. Film is high def. That's what I keep trying to say. Yeah,
it's more than high def. I mean, like
right?
in some cases, there's some people would argue that even 8K technically isn't enough to capture all the information that's on there. Now, the argument would be, can our eyes really differentiate between the two? That's the thing, and that's kind of what I was getting at earlier. Is I've seen some standard Blu-rays that look almost as good as a 4K Blu-ray, but again, it all depends. It all depends on how the scan is handled, how good of shape the negative's in, and all that kind of stuff, and what manipulation is done afterwards. And that's another thing I'd like to talk to him about too, or somebody about that. It would be like just all the work that goes into these movies after they're scanned, because there's always some kind of manipulation done to them, try and help clean them up. And
you got stuff. But and then they charge, I think, for what they're doing after the after the films. But yeah, get stuff like this where it's and then you have to have all these old machines, like all the reel to reel, and some of the machines or some of the formats are disappearing too. So the most famous is the NASA moon landings, the AMP machines, the tape machines.
Mm-hmm.
There are only like 2 guys left in the world, and they had to get these guys, and they had to fix the machines and get them running again. And it was a real effort to get these old all the digital tapes from the moon transferred, and they finally did it. And they've got all the information, all the the pictures and things from the original Apollo. Famously they lost the first Apollo landing because it was telecine, so it was filmed. They were filming, because the NASA signal was not compatible with broadcast television, so it was transferred down to NASA, and they set up a TV camera. And someone in the chat had mentioned how horrible it looks when you do a TV camera, taking a picture of a monitor, even if you get the frame rates to sync up. But they erased the first moon landing. They erased that, unfortunately. So by erasing that, then you've lost the the high quality versions. The later moon landings look better. But yeah, it's the same thing with we're a bunch of us are Doctor Who fans, right? So famously they've lost a ton of Doctor Who episodes. They've recovered a bunch, but yeah, it's
that's a whole conversation of a whole nother rabbit hole.
Yeah. So here's let's see, movie film conversion.
Oh, okay,
cool. And let's see, photo neg. I just wonder if he had more videos up on there. And but yeah, you get the idea. And then of course they always have to explain what they're doing or how to transfer it. And but the main thing is if you get just get it done somehow, so you don't lose those old memories. Like buying digital, it's you're never gonna lose that. Hopefully, knock on wood. Once you do it, can they transfer old ViewMaster cells to digital? Yeah, probably. I'm sure they could not be reached, right? Yeah,
it'd probably take them a bit to figure how, but
yeah, I'm sure they can figure it out. Yeah, I wouldn't trust the post office. My old movies. I worked there for 20 years. Yeah, that's the scary things. Yeah. And
that's why I was asking if they had to deal with baking, because I mean videotapes already have enough issues to deal with.
God, oh, they're so bad, videotapes.
That's why I never will miss videotape. I don't care what people say. I'll never miss it. Never.
Now people are selling them now, and they're
that is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Well, now if people want to watch, set up an old CRT and watch, that's fine. What I hate is when these people are selling them for astronomical prices and getting graded like comic books and shit. Yep. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
Wes Cagle saying, can we get a like for your brother-in-law's business? Well, I don't know if they're on the YouTubes, but there's their website. I don't know if he uses I don't know if he's got any YouTube videos there. Were those? I think those are Vimeo. But no, I appreciate you asking. Thank you. Yep. Brian Hepburn says, time for bed. Good night, everyone. Good night, Brian Hepburn.
Good night, Brian.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah, getting there. We're gonna cut out in a couple minutes, I think, here, guys. But famous last words. Yeah, but we all got to get to work tomorrow again. But
yeah, that's kind of similar. What I've heard, anywhere between 8 and 16K, pretty much.
And 70 millimeter film. Wow. Whew.
Yeah, that opens up the gamut for that, or gamut, or however you want to say it. The sky's the limit on some of those.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Now we can hear you, Courtney.
Yes. Gosh, I'm so sorry.
Okay?
I was
don't be sorry.
from my phone, which I was on, to now the computer with. I wish I have working.
It happens.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. Yep.
I'm still learning all this. But anyway, keep talking about what you're talking about.
All good. Yep. And hey, Elder Lenrod. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm behind on the chat. Whenever I'm showing something on the other monitor, I get behind on the chat. So, but great to see you, Lenrod. Yep. But yeah, no, all that stuff. Like you said, you lost some of your movies, so I'm so glad I got that stuff transferred and I have it backed up and
Yeah, it stinks when it's only your only VHS copy, and we didn't think about that stuff. It was 1998, when it happened.
Yeah,
so. I'm gonna be like 3 more minutes. I just have to let the dog out because I just walked in. If you're ending or something, that's fine, but I will be right back.
Okay, yeah, because we are probably and I hate that. I hate saying that we might be.
It's my dog's. Here, I'll just have him come say hello really quick. He's 10 years old today.
Oh,
wow.
What's the doggy's name again? Is it Rocco or?
It's Walter.
Walter. Yeah.
I'm like, I have my hair like pulled back. I've been driving around all day. He's got his MTV shirt on. I just wanted to show you how hippie for a 70-year-old. My room's a mess. Don't mind.
So
but yeah, Walter's 10 years old today. I'm like a crazy person. And I have 7 years with no alcohol today.
God bless.
Wow.
You.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congrats. Big time.
Not easy to do. I know that.
Excellent.
Yeah. Oh my God, look at me. I can't believe I'm on camera.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, I'll go. We'll go like
that. Out of the gym
you look good.
Leather jacket.
Yeah.
Look at that Fonzie jacket.
Oh yeah.
Well,
if you saw my closet, I have like 15 leathers. It's really they're leather. You know what I mean? They're not real.
Yes.
It's a weird obsession.
Well, you know what we're gonna do for a few minutes, Courtney, because I know you got to walk the dog, but I'm gonna chew like.
No, I don't have to walk. I just literally have to let him out the back door.
Okay, but I'm gonna do a few minutes of foodery, and I know Tom. I don't know if you're hungry right now, or if you want to stay to see some obscene food pictures.
I do. I'm gonna just literally be a minute. I'm gonna mute myself. So
okay,
just go ahead, and I'll be here. I'll be right back.
So we're gonna show some food pictures to close out the evening because that's what I do to everyone. Either I get you to buy something, or I make you hungry. So here's a few. So of course Easter, Grandma's got a big bowl of candy, and she had. I should have taken a picture. She had the Ziploc bags, and this is a big ass bowl. You can't tell. She's got little baggies. She's like, everyone has to take some home. So I did take some home. Yeah, just to appease. She made me. Let me do. I just knocked my thing off here. Because I'm a boom. Always got a boom or something during the stream, but yeah. Here's my baggie of candy. See, see if Graham. Oh, and here's my where's my snow caps? I got my snow caps.
Oh man, don't do this to me. I want snow caps.
Sorry, Clever.
You're gonna get them at the Dollar Tree or certain theaters right here.
So I got my snow caps. So here we'll go through what we had for Easter. And then this is a homemade. What the hell were these? These were damn good. I know what you call them. Whatever they were, chocolate and something in there.
Are those the Oreo balls thingies?
Yeah, were they? I think she had Oreos in there.
Yeah, they're
whatever
Oreo,
the hell it was. I
know I'm going to get made fun of for making a lewd joke, but Oreo balls.
Yeah.
Get rid of your. You can't make any kind of joke like that. But I'm not joking. I think that's what. At least they look like those. It may not be the same thing.
Yeah,
Lenrod.
They were good. They were good. Hey, Lenrod. Yep. Yeah, I still have an old Windows 95 machine that I keep to play. It had like a media player, and I could play my DV movies. Connect my camera using an old IE. What was it? FireWire. And so I kept a Windows 95 machine that could still, or was it 98 or whatever? These were like my. As much as my daughter's, my son's girlfriend does not watch Star Wars, and I'm angry at that. She made like these Reese's Pieces eggs, like homemade, like peanut butter chocolate eggs. Oh man, they were good. Oh, those are so good.
Yes,
we got brownies.
Oh yeah, they got pecans on them.
I didn't eat those.
You got Rice Krispies though.
We got chocolate and white.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Listen to us sound like a bunch of fat kids.
Well, yeah, of course.
Cute little bunny. And then we
in our defense, Tom, I've heard skinny people rave about food too. So they don't have the right to, but they do it.
So I hope I'm still a real man, but we ate quiche this morning for brunch.
Oh, there you go. It's over.
So spinach quiche. Quiche with like cheese. These were good though. Yeah, these were good. Popeye would love that spinach quiche. Yeah. Oh, Wes Poonsky, you can't get FireWire, but the version of the software is so old that worked with the camera. The newer versions, when I tried to connect my 1995 FireWire camera, I just can never get the damn thing to work right. I'm like, I still have Windows 95 or XP. I'm like, I'm just going to install the original software, and it worked like a charm on the old machine. But yeah, you still can. But it's sometimes it's like, just get the damn thing to work. Now this is not this was lemon. Was that blueberry?
Blueberry?
Yeah, that was. I don't eat I can't eat blueberries, but so that was a big. That was from Costco. Everyone was raving about it, but I can't stand blueberries. Now these they're not raisins. They're chocolate chips in there. So that was good. And these are more of the quiches. I got quiches here, quiches everywhere. And then there's our ham. Gotta have ham. That one I didn't like. It had too many veggie things in it. I didn't eat that one. Too much green in that one, right, Clobbering Times?
I'd say way too much.
Way too much. And there's my ham. My ham on coming off the big green egg. A little singed in some parts, but added some good
green eggs
flavor.
and ham, you said?
Green is what meat grows when it goes bad.
You said green eggs
A
and ham.
warning sign.
Yeah. And we had to make fish for the pescatarian, of course, on Friday night,
Well, you'd love that
Saturday night
shrimp.
dinner.
You'd love that shrimp and crawfish at this crawfish boil was that today, dude. It was, yeah, I was gonna take some pictures, but I wasn't gonna torture you like you tortured me.
Oh, I would have loved to see pictures of that stuff. Yeah. And only blueberries and muffins, waffles, or pie. Yeah. So then I made filet mignon, as Mr. Froley said on Three's Company. Filet mignon and escargots.
Escargots.
And one person wanted theirs extremely overcooked, so I had to overcook theirs. But I like my cow pretty much mowing, so so there's our filet mignon. And I did the sous vide, so you put it in the you put it in the bag and you set it to 120, and then you pop it on the green egg. This is cooking the fish on the big green egg. So that can get up to 700 degrees. The fish, of course, doesn't need that much to cook, but you get a nice sear on there. Get some nice flavor. So we got, there's the fish, and here's the steak. Well, you guys can't hear I should put the sizzle. Can you hear the sizzle? You gotta hear the sizzle. Let me reshare that, and then we'll get out of here. And famous last words, I know, but let's let me share the audio on this. It's always good to hear the sizzle, get the full effect.
Yes.
All right, let me go.
Skizzle.
Hopefully there's no music in the background there. But just, does that make you hungry?
Yes.
I'm starving. I got Cracker Barrel for dinner, and I still haven't eaten it.
Oh.
Walter put his Easter shirt on for one moment, and he's too fat for it already.
Well, I'm too fat after all this candy. So I always joke, I call it sous vide, and I tease every time. I love mispronouncing words on purpose. Yep. Yes, I use charcoal, West Kegel, but I was out of my lump charcoal, which was bad, so I had to use the cheapo charcoal. But you always use lump charcoal. It's much better. Yep. So here's then this was, we went to Clobbering Times. You're not gonna like this, but we went out to sushi on Friday. Good Friday, you have to eat fish. Of course, Grammy got chicken because she's old enough. She gets a free dispensation. But that's soup with salmon. You like salmon?
That looks like a sewer.
Salmon was like my least favorite of sushi.
That looks like something I would see at a place where my kids bring me all the time. I try to find something to order that they think I'll like, and it ain't that usually. But I see them eating it, and I'm like,
Walter, you're too fat for this.
I do use propane and propane accessories for RobAltis.
That looks yummy. Tuna.
Sous vide, yeah. So this was our seafood boat. So that's always fun to order, and the chef just puts everything together. But yeah, I love the sushi. Love me some sushi. So, But that does that mess? You don't mind that so much, clobbering times, right? Sushi doesn't.
As long as
bug
you don't make me eat it. Ugh.
As long as I don't
Oh,
make
it's
you eat
awful. Oh, it's horrific. No. Oh,
you got carrots in here. You could eat shredded carrots.
Man.
And then we're
that's
telling.
what I've been doing. I can't stomach the raw sushi. I used to love it, but ever since just the medications I'm on, and I love veggie rolls now. Like the carrot, avocado, and a cucumber.
And we're warning Grammy not to eat the green stuff. What does this taste like? Yeah, the wasabi. Yep, it's a little hot. Yep. No, this was I ordered the squid with extra tentacles. So this
This evening I shall go for the squid platter. Extra tentacles, please.
Aren't you glad you stayed for this time? But they had a whole squid.
I had an appetite until now.
For squid, yeah.
There we go, Tom. We're gonna lose weight
Where's that
now. Yeah,
mini octopus?
That's a big squid. It's a big squid. Yep, damn big squid.
Calamari.
Actually.
I like the eel.
Calamari. Yeah,
Walter,
that was a big one.
Mark, would you take the comment down so we can just show you his shirt so I can put him down?
Oh yeah.
He's feeling very He doesn't like the bow tie. This was his Easter shirt.
Oh, very cute. Hey, Walter.
And he's like hulking out of it because he's too fat for it. So
Aww, puppies.
he can take me down now. He's just trying to get out of my arms right now. He's like, I'm over today. Ooh, that looks so yummy. Is that bacon wrapped or that's eel.
That's a big ass calamari. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
I like that sauce that they put on it.
Oh, the sauce was so good. Yeah. And this is Japanese soda that tastes really good, but I should have taken a picture. There's a ball on the top to seal it. It's not a cap. So you push down and then the ball goes in the middle. But then what happens when you try to drink too fast like an American, it slows the soda coming out so you can't chug it. So but that was that it tasted really good. But yeah, it's cool Japanese soda. And there's our pizza.
I have the same thing, I believe. This carbonated, it had like a little ball in the top of it.
Yeah.
Is this the kind of thing it was?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the ball like gets stuck when you're trying to drink it and you can't get enough out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I saved the bottle because it was cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that.
And there's some salad pizza. So that's what I think someone in the chat wanted to know what salad pizza was like. Some pizza on the salad. So
arugula and stuff on it.
Yeah, so that was our foodery for the night. So but I'll leave everyone with as we get out of here. I'll put this picture up for everyone so they can get that. If you don't like sushi, there you go. So that'll get the. I mean, I was a big sushi fan, but there we go. So all right, well, let's get the heck out of here on Easter. It's going to be 1:30. Courtney, it was great to have you stop by. Sorry we didn't.
I can't believe I made it even for a minute. So
no, we're glad
just happy to say hi.
Glad you're here. Yep, and a huge shout out to Tom from Midnight's Edge, who is everywhere, and we always love hearing from him and hanging out with them. And that was some really cool stuff we got to talk about film and
nerd
out on film, and it's nice to have that.
To go back and listen. Because Tom is good at nerding out with film stuff, so he's good to listen to.
Yeah, and you can go Be Kind and Rewind, right? Yep. And RobAltis is only 10:26 in LA, and you got much nicer weather there too. But it was great hanging out with Tom tonight, talking Godzilla X Kong. Yeah. How do we pronounce that? Godzilla
XOXO Kong.
XO. So I think it's getting 3 thumbs up. From us, right? And we're all saying go see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
fun night in the movie.
Who you like better, Godzilla or Kong?
Kong in this one for me.
Yeah,
I've always had a soft spot for Kong.
Me too.
I love all big monsters.
Yeah, I love the big G. Yeah.
Little monsters, but
yeah.
Kong is the OG.
I love Kong because Kong would always treat the women. You know what I mean? He'd always be so sweet.
That's the thing. He has a little more personality, right? Like,
yeah,
Godzilla has like 1 or 2 modes, and that's about it.
He's just a big misunderstood hairy guy. You know, he can't help it.
He's a sucker for the ladies, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Big dumb ape, but he's lovable.
Someone else talking.
Oh, somebody's in somebody's background or something.
Oh, I thought he was talking and we couldn't hear him. That's not me.
Sorry, I'm trying to point my camera. This is my very first video. I apologize. Was the McFarlane Toys King Kong, which is a really cool.
The first video. Yeah.
My very first YouTube video. So I don't know if that's considered an action figure. I guess it's an action figure.
I don't know. It's cool though. So.
I like that.
Badassness.
What is that? I see like a Miss Piggy. I see an Arthur. Is that an Arthur or like a?
That's
that's a Tigger.
That's a Roo. That's a Roo.
Oh, I can't see any. I can't see very well. They're really tiny.
Well, here, let me make it full screen. Yeah, make it full screen. So that's Owl, and of course Kong has not only gotten faded right, but he's also gotten Uhura. So Captain Kirk is going to show up and rescue Uhura. But that was my very first YouTube video. My God, I can't imagine. I was so damn nervous doing that first video. I think Eric K was there and was the first person.
Did you do it live?
I thought
I did it live.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Were you there too? You probably were there too.
I think I saw it later. Actually, I didn't get to be there with you.
I think it was.
I remember it though. I remember the day you
doing a
dropped
review.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
the day you dropped it. Yeah.
And of course, on that, on Saturday Night Star Trek, you mentioned, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe 20 people just subbed to my channel. It was so much fun, but I was God, I was nervous. And then what happened? I was trying to unbox it, and this thing isn't, it's not that old a toy, but it's relatively old, and I never figured out how to you should always cut all the wires and have the thing ready to unbox. So I'm trying to unbox it, and I'm live on camera.
I would do that too. I would do that. You're trying to cut it on, untwist the thing and everything.
It all twisted and everything, and I'm like, yep. And Eric K, of course, was there. Yep, thank you, Eric K. And I'm trying to open the damn thing up, and I'm like, it's not opening up, and I'm like, oh my God, you can hear the box crinkling.
Effortless.
I'm like, no one's ever gonna watch this and be making fun of me. And here I finally found it. Yeah, well, here's the video. So for a trip down memory lane, you can all watch this after and see how bad I sound.
You should show a little bit of it right now. Show us a clip.
All right, I'll show you a clip. Yeah. See, I said we were getting out of here. That's what happens. But
I just showed up, so of course I'm like, no.
All right, we'll skim through 2 seconds. See, I always do this, but this is fun stuff at all.
It's fun to watch back and see how different. I think I look like 20 years younger 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I don't know what happened to me.
Let's see. So they're probably skinnier back then. So that's and I'm using OBS Studio.
Look at Mark. He looks so tiny in the little box.
The little box. Yep. Yeah. So
I'm going to Mystery Science Theater 3000. You're doing this now. I'm just kidding.
Oh, live chat replay was turned off. I got to change that back. I don't know why the live chat replay is off, but yeah, here's just doing the video, and I think when I was trying to open it, if you could hear it, I was like, oh shit, I can't open it. So it's just fun. It's just fun, but it turned out good. Yeah. So things.
You had it all set up really well, though. It's way better than I could have done. I still can't do that.
Good. Yep. All right, everyone. We're really getting out of here. I apologize. Yeah. So, all right, everyone. So, thank you, Tom. What you got coming up on Monday night? You got Midnight's Edge in the morning, or let's see if Tom is here. Oh, it's probably getting back.
He's not ready. I can tell you something really.
Yeah.
Quick,
Yep.
So tomorrow, as usual, and I think the link was just up for that 70s Rock Band's channel. At 5:00 Eastern, we're doing a Cozy Powell tribute, and we're going to have a couple big people. I think Graham Bonnet's going to be on with us.
You got Graham Bonnet coming on?
Yes, I believe he's going to be with us tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh
and then on Thursday, I started with them last week, but we're doing an episode on metal music this Thursday. It's Roman of the Empire's channel, and it's been pretty fun. We reviewed Almost Famous last Thursday, and it's all musicians on there, and it's a pretty cool time. So
awesome, sounds great. Yep, everyone watch for
that. Or 8 p.m. Eastern, and I'll throw his channel in the chat too.
Oh, and Wes Cagle comes in with the super chat. It says, "Say goodnight, Gracie." Thank you so much, Wes Cagle. Much appreciated. So let's see what can we play for that to get out of here. And we mentioned this a few times tonight.
No bloody A, B, C, or D.
All right, and Clobbering Times, what you got rolling on Monday night?
Well, I'll be J-Man and Sean and I will be at his channel, 6 Central, 7 Eastern, for our usual Legion of Superheroes reviews. Reviewing all of Legion appearances, and then tomorrow night at 9 Central, a Monday night Marc C Comics Talk. I'll be celebrating the 60th anniversary of the debut of issue number 1, and his debut in particular of Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, of course, the old hornhead. And review issue number 1 and talk all things DD, because he's a great character that I love. So pretty much that, and then the usual spate of shows for the rest of the week.
Good stuff. So everyone sub to Clobbering Times. If you haven't, you don't know what you're missing. I'm sure most of you had, but let me put it's all the links are down below, and all our mainstays, all our buddies are here. So I'm sure they're all sub to Clobbering Times. But just in case you're finding this on a rewind or come across it, there's Clobbering Times channel. I'm going to put in our Clubhouse Discord. You can join us there. I always put in a plug for Raquel, so you can grab Raquel's book here. Raquel's on Patreon, and also here's her Amazon link. And if you want to buy a Doomsday Machine, you can also get that from me on Coffee. Here's my Coffee link if you want to buy a Doomsday Machine, and I also have the ornaments on eBay, and all the usual places. So want to give a shout out to my Patreons: Brian Hepburn, RobAltis, Larry, and Shooter. Thank you so much. And let's see who's still active in the chat. So I'm going to do that instead of calling everyone out. But Could Not Be Reached, D. Clay, the great Eric K, Lenrod, Putin's Cat, Robalta, Shooter, the Stream Elements bot is still here, Wes Cagle, and your Muslim uncle. Thank you to your Muslim uncle, to Maddie's daddy for joining us earlier in the stream and talking some Godzilla and animation stuff. And of course, Retro Nerd Girl is here too. So everyone check out Retro Nerd Girl's most awesome channel. She's got some incredible watch-alongs and reviews, and she's always a ton of fun to hang out with and super nice too. So, and always a great chat there. So here is Retro Nerd Girl's channel. Make sure to sub there. And of course, Courtney's got the Thursday 8 p.m. link. So thank you for putting that up. And of course, our buddy Tom at Midnight's Edge, amazing channel on the YouTubes. Everyone, please go check out Tom's channel if you haven't. And of course, Mead Radio, late night, which is always fun to hang out with, and give him a couple of donations there, and you get some requests in there. Rumor has it even plays Jethro Tull once in a while, so which is cool. So yeah,
it just played some the other night, actually. Yeah,
awesome. Yes, my favorite. Yep. Oh, Eclay says I need a link tree. I do have a link tree page actually. Let me put that in. Where's my link tree? It's here we go. Yep, here's my link tree. It's also it should be in the about section, but here is the link tree. So Tom, you have Midnight's Edge in the morning. What you got coming up?
Yeah, Midnight's Edge in the morning.
Yep, every week. Yep, and of course, Tom, you can find him on Toxic Tuesday. And what's our movie this week? We're doing. What did
we're starting the Burt Reynolds movies?
Are we doing Burt? Are we doing?
I don't know which one we're starting with, but
let me check here because I know I made a note of it. I have my Toxic Tuesday notes, so I don't. Ever since I clipped the wrong movie, we're doing Longest Yard. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Nice, love it.
Yeah, movie. That's a great movie. Yep. Great Burt Reynolds one. So it's Burt Reynolds month. So everyone check out Tom there on Toxic Tuesday. Hopefully you'll be there with us, and of course Midnight's Edge. And I guess you guys will be talking a lot of Kong this week. I'm sure too, right? Kong and Godzilla.
I'm sure it'll come up that and all the Black Girl Gaming stuff and everything else.
Oh yeah, that's been been a mess. Yeah, my God, can't we just play games anymore? Have all this stuff going on. But yeah, it's been a great time hanging with all you guys and gals tonight. Thank you again for the super chats from Eric K, your Muslim uncle, RT and Z, and Shooter and Wes Cagle. Lenron's here too. I hope, and RobAltis, Lisa. Good night, Lisa. I don't want to miss anyone. Yeah, so I get my bear of limited brain.
Fucking neck.
Told you I broke his fucking neck.
I think he broke his fucking neck.
And you know who said that line?
Jaws.
Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws.
Told you I broke his fucking neck.
Robert has a Jaws t-shirt too. I should have put that on him. I didn't know you were going to say that.
Oh, you can do it next time. Yep.
Great movie. I love
It's a different Jaws anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't. I just heard Jaws. I was typing. Sorry. Typical me.
Yeah. And RobAltis says, I love you guys. I love you, man. Yeah, thank you so
Hooper
much.
is a great movie. It's underrated.
Wait a minute. Hooper? Jaws? Huh?
Hooper. Mitchell.
Oh.
How about Hooperman? How about Hooperman, the TV show, for an obscure TV show? I always liked that show with John Ritter. But
I don't remember that one off.
I remember that one.
Didn't last
long.
Yeah.
Didn't last long.
I mean, I know who John Ritter is.
Yeah, that's obscure though. Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he had a cute little doggy on that show, and a cute little doggy like Courtney. Yep.
I'm not surprised because John had this endless. Ever since he had, Three's Company. And then he just stumbled like Jack Tripper for years trying to find a new show. And it wasn't until I think with Hearts of Fire got a little bit of fame, if I remember right.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking of. That didn't last too long. And then it was not until the rules
Shade.
for dating my daughter.
Oh no, yeah, that's right.
You're thinking of Burt Reynolds with Evening Shade, yeah.
Yep, sorry.
Kelly Cook.
Yeah.
Kelly Cook.
Poor John Ritter. He just couldn't catch a break. It felt like for like a decade.
Remember Hero at Large?
He barely. Like he did so many different shows
that never stuck.
Never stuck around. Like, yeah.
Who Ritter? Is that who you're saying? Or
John Ritter? Yeah.
It was the Sling Blade. Great movie.
Oh God, yeah. Well, his acting career near the end there was great too. Yeah, when he started he just started popping up in all kinds of stuff. Bride of Chucky.
Oh wow! I would never.
What was the movie with the kid that was driving him crazy? That was
Problem Child. Yeah, well, that was a big hit for him. Actually,
big hit. Yeah.
People forget how big of a hit Problem Child was.
Yeah. Oh, he's so talented. Actually, I started watching Three's Company again.
That's him and his wife in those movies.
I love Three's Company. I love that show.
I don't know if people know he was married to Amy Yazbek or whatever, who played
love her.
His wife in the Problem Child movies.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Redhead.
Yeah. Yep.
No one can tell I have hair right now.
Say goodbye, Data. All right. We're going to talk for another hour here because see how much fun we have on Sunday Night Geekery, but I appreciate
later, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye.
So everyone put the overlay on and everyone have fun storming the castle. Take care, everyone.
Have fun storming the castle.
Have a great week, everyone.
Storming the castle. It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hit it.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.